Hello and welcome to Markkleeberg in Germany for round 4 of the 2019 ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup. It's the third time this venue has hosted a World Cup, and we have a lineup of 183 athletes from 26 countries competing for points across the 5-race World Cup series. We're now a month away from the Olympic qualifiers and World Championships in Spain, so we're really into the sharp end of the 2019 international racing season. Our course designers Michael Trummer and Dan Goddard have set the 21 gates on this course to challenge the athletes. 6 upstream gates, red and white, and the rest green and white downstream gates. So this fantastic course, built in 2006 as part of the Leipzig 2012 Olympic bid, is located just outside Leipzig, and the Markkleeberg Sea here is a former industrial area and now reclaimed as an extensive country park that creates this great setting for this World Cup competition. Perfect weather conditions, sun is shining, no wind at all. And, well, we're into the semi-finals of the women's C1. 30 boats from the heats qualified through into this semi-final, and then they will race in reverse order of their performance in those heats. And last off in the competition will be Jessica Fox, the world number 1 from Australia. She was fastest in the heats, but top competition as we go through today. Andrea Herzog of Germany, well, she'll be looking to use her home knowledge to secure some valuable points in this World Cup series. 60 points up for grabs for a win in this race 4, but of course race 5 next weekend in Prague in the Czech Republic has double points because it is the World Cup final, and that will conclude the World Cup series and crown the champion. So this great course in Leipzig drops 5.2 meters over its 270 meter length, and 18 cubic meters of water per second are pumped up into the start pool. That's 18 tons of water per second, and gravity does the rest. So we're underway with racing here in the women's C1 semi-final. 30 boats, just 10 boats in that final later on today. So led off is the world champion from 2011. It is Katarina Havličová of the Czech Republic. She won the World Cup in 2014, and she's a World Championship silver medalist from 2013. Not necessarily at her prime now, but still very capable, very attacking style as she navigates this 21-gate course. So yesterday in the men's C1 event, we saw Alexander Slavkovsky of Slovakia take the gold medal. Really emotional win for him after a difficult start to the 2019 season. And then in the women's K1 event, we saw the home favourite Ricarda Funk deliver in front of her home crowd and take the gold medal. And also, well, that has put her really well placed to represent Germany in those Tokyo Olympic Games next year, subject to the Germans qualifying a place at the World Championships to go through. Well, Katarina Havličová here from the Czech Republic is navigating this course very well indeed. She's no penalties so far, really showing her experience, and very tidy through 18 to 19. Now 2 more gates to go. Sprint to the finish, but this is quite a long sprint on this finish line here between gate 20 and 21. And now she comes through a time of 1:15.17. Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of time the perhaps the top boats will produce. We saw the men's C1 yesterday produce around about 92, Alexander Slavkovsky, in order to win the race in the final yesterday. I would be anticipating we'd certainly get around 105 in this women's C1 event, maybe even better on the basis of the standard of the athletes that we have. So next up on course is Kiang Teng, who again is another paddler who has a background of success, but not so much recent success, because she took 2 World Cup podiums in 2014. 26-year-old from the People's Republic of China, and well, looking to build into this season and make sure that the People's Republic of China qualify boats through into the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Less than a year away, the focus of a lot of these athletes is now on those Tokyo Olympic Games, and well, the real excitement is particularly in this class, the women's C1, where it will make its debut in those Tokyo Games. Lots of excitement and really high standard of racing anticipated throughout the weekend here in Markkleeberg. And well, Kiang Teng is up on the split, up on Katarina Havlichova of the Czech Republic. Coming through 18 to 19, really having to work a little bit harder there on the stopper to feel the water, but no big problem there for Kiang Teng. Now it's a straight finish here, digging deep into those energy reserves, and surely Teng of the People's Republic of China will take the race lead. She does, 1:14.77, and another clean run on this course. So next up, it is Ainhoa Lamero of Spain, just 18 years of age. She was 9th at the Under-23 World Championships just a month or so ago in Krakow in Poland. So she's no stranger to making it into finals and be looking to transition into senior ranks. Ducking and diving around this tricky little sequence, gate 6 to 7, and here you get a great view, actually, the aerial view from the drone camera, just how offset these downstream green and white gates actually are, as Ainhoa comes into the upstream gate 10. So she has picked up a 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 6, but at the moment still in touch on the early split. This, though, is the critical section, this middle section. A lot of time can be lost, and this course pretty relentless. Other than the sort of sprint from 10 to 11, then there's no let up in the technical demands. And there you can see just Ainhoa just having to work really hard from 12 to 13, sorry, from 11 to 12 to reset the boat, and now back on track. But the second split shows 2.35 seconds down, so she is down on race leader Kiang Teng of the People's Republic of China. Nicely in and out of 19, then down from 20, and this sprint to the finish really is like water, and it always feels like paddling uphill, just at a time when the energy reserves are depleted. But into third place, Ainhoa Lamero of Spain, and it is still Kiang Teng of the People's Republic of China leading after 3 races down. 30 to go in this semi-final, and just 10 places in the final. So Emanuela Luknarova of Slovakia, now a junior paddler on course. She was 5th at this year's Junior World Championships. She's a 2-time Junior European Championship finalist. So again, a young up-and-coming paddler who is well, no stranger to the pressure, and she's up on the People's Republic of China, Kiang Teng, our current race leader. Now you'll see, we in the men's C1 yesterday, we commented on more and more of the athletes are switching the blade, so they don't stay on the same side throughout the competition. But in this women's C1, it's almost the women's C1 have set the trend for switching, and more and more of the athletes, particularly the younger athletes, will be switching. So as we watch Emanuela Luknarova of Slovakia coming down into the split time. We'll get an indication, and she's still up at the halfway split. So can she hold on? Can she challenge the time of Qian Teng of the People's Republic of China? Well, won't have to wait too long as she comes down into 18-19. This is quite a tricky little sequence, but no problems there for Emanuela. Now, 2 gates stand between her and the finish line, and it looks like she may well challenge that lead time at the moment of 1:14.77 from Qian Teng of the People's Republic of China. It's going to be close, and well, into second place. Slips just outside, but into second place for Emanuela Luknerova. 4 boats down, 26 boats still to go in this Women's C1 semi-final. So, well, next up, and already up on the split, it is Nuria Villarobla of Spain. Nuria is a very exciting paddler, and still really discovering the consistency of her paddling, because when she's on fire, well, she is very hard to beat, and in fact she is a European champion from back in 2016. So myself, Andy Muddock, in the commentary box, keeping you up to date with all the action, and alongside me, Amber Maslin from the British team. We will talk you through these semi-finals this morning. We've also got the men's K1 semi-finals, which will follow immediately after the women's C1. But look at the advantage there Nuria has found in the middle section.
Yeah, the Spanish girls are super strong, like in K1 and C1, and we're really seeing the C1 competitive group expanding outside of just Britain and Australia, so it's super cool to see them throwing down times like this.
Well, and talking of those times, I was saying with the introduction really that I was expecting it to be around 105 kind of seconds for winning this semi-final. Well, Nuria is certainly looking like she's going to squeeze that under 110. And, well, 108.23, so she extends the advantage on the bottom part of the course. And it is Nuria Villarobla of Spain, 108.23. Qian Teng of the People's Republic of China, now 6.5 seconds below. Well, it is from one part of Spain to just north of Spain. It is Andorra, and it's Monica Doria Villarobla. Essentially, very much training partners, and Monica Doria Villarobla using the base in La Seu d'Urgell to train, but just based in the mountain state of Andorra, just in the north of the Pyrenees.
Yeah, I think Monica celebrated her 20th birthday a couple of days ago, so that's really cool for her, a nice week. Really strong paddler. Again, the Spanish girls are super good at C1. They have a really nice feel for the water, so you can see she's choosing the spin option there. We saw a lot of K1s going forwards, but we know for sure that this course is very lefty biased, and as we can see here, Monica prefers a right hand stroke, but she is likely to be switching further down the course.
Well, let's have a look. She's a junior European champion from 2017, and she was 8th at the Under-23 World Championships in 2019. So we've got a lot of really young up-and-coming athletes, and, well, they're looking to make their mark, and World Cups are a great opportunity to get that experience, and very capable of getting into the World Cup final here, but just 10 spots available in that final, and tough competition.
Yeah, she's a little bit down on the split. You can see that she fell off the back of the stopper a little there. It's much better if you can put your boat right in the middle of the way, and it pushes you all the way over for free.
And a penalty just picked up on the downstream K16. And well, you've been watching the semi-finals and finals over the course of yesterday, Amber. What do you see as the most technically demanding part of this course?
It's hard to say. I think there's a couple of stoppers at the top that are really hard to manage with the moves that they've had put on them. 9 to 10 both days has been quite difficult. We can see people, a lot of the C1s, choosing between going on their crossbar and switching, which means it's quite a crux move. So I think at the top section with the stoppers, and at the bottom there's a couple of steeper drops that are kind of hard to use. So
it's pretty busy all the way down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just constantly jumping in the water. I think it's a really constant course. There's white water the whole way down. There's no significant stretches apart from the corner where you can reset.
Well, Monica Doria Villaruble of Andorra into 4th place. Just slipped away at the bottom, but it is still Nuria Villaruble of Spain leading the way. But here is a challenge, and it's from France, and it is Marjorie Delassus, who was 4th at the Under-23 Worlds just a few weeks ago, and she is up on the split. But washed away there from 9 to 10.
Marjorie just did a really nice spin combination in 6 and 7, and she actually got pretty close to gate 10. We saw Villaruble get really close into the upstream, and we're seeing a lot of time being taken out and being able to have a tight exit.
Well, we'll wait and see, because there's still a lot of time to be had. Not the tidiest line there for Marjorie as she comes into the upstream gate 12, having to react a little bit late, switch. Probably that wasn't her plan A, but now this is a critical section into the upstream 15. But wow, look at that, 6.87 seconds, and it shows just how good Nuria Villaruble was in that middle section.
Yeah, for sure. She just kept the speed running from the moves before, and you can see that now that she's had a little mistake, Marjorie's having more trouble keeping speed on the boat, so she's going to have to work a lot harder. And there's a couple of really physical moves at the bottom. 20 to 21 is a super physical move. You have to sprint as hard as you can across an eddy, which means the water's going against you.
Well, it's still a respectable time, and it's still clean at the moment. It's not going to challenge the race lead time, but well, for Marjorie Delassus of France, it is 5th place for now, 1:16.71. And the young French paddler, well, I'm not sure that'll stand the test of time for a place in the final, but well done to those athletes so far, because this is all valuable experience as well. Well, for Slovakia, next up it is Monika Skachova, who, well, she's a bronze medalist at the Under-23 World Championships just a few weeks ago, so another up-and-coming athlete. But well, Monika has also won the Under-23 European Championship in 2018.
Yeah, so it's also her Olympic selection this weekend. The Slovaks are using this race and Prague, Seoul and London European Championships, and that's their best 3 results out of 4 that decides their Olympic boat. So Monika will be looking to be the first C1 woman for Slovakia to ever go to the Olympics, so she'll be wanting to put down a really good result here to start her series well.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we saw that a bit in the men's C1 race, particularly yesterday. The 3 Slovak boats really fighting it out in the final yesterday, and it was Alexander Slavkovsky that came out on top. And well, in his interview afterwards, he sent a clear statement to the selectors as well.
I didn't see his interview afterwards, but I can imagine it would have been fairly tense. The Slovak guys have the most insane competition, perhaps, bar Britain, for the C1 man spot. So.
Oh, Alexander, it was a very professional interview, but he made it really clear that he was the one that needs to be selected. And well, based on yesterday's form, but it was good equally to see Mikhail Martikan back to close to his best, as well as Mate Benes fighting it out. But focusing on here, it is a good run from Monika Skachova. It's not going to challenge the race lead, but it may well slot into 2nd place. And it does. So Slovakia's Monika Skachova does take 2nd place, but it is still Nuria Villaruble of Spain who is leading with the time 1:08.23. As well, here is someone who could challenge, but already in a little bit of trouble at the top.
Yeah, it's Victoria Wolfhard. She's a really experienced racer, but we just saw her over-rotate a little bit in Gate 1 there. Gate 1 is actually a stopper move here. You have to use the water to take your boat from right to left, and we saw her lose her nose upstream a little, so she had to manage that mistake there, and now she's going to really want to put some speed on the boat to make up for it. She's just gone in below Gate 6, which actually she's made really good work of, and I wonder if she's going to try and go forward. No, she's going to spin in Gate 7. Still actually, considering the 2 mistakes she's had now, she's really putting speed back on the boat.
Yeah, not a great top section, but she looks like she's recomposed herself, and now she has to get into the groove and try and find a bit of time on this middle section. We know it's easy to lose the time. What can Vicky Wolfhard do as she comes down? Now, through to Gate 11, first challenge into 12 tides, and she's rejected by the wave there, so a little bit more time being lost here.
Yeah, gate 11 to 12, this stop is one of the tricky ones in the course because you really have to keep your body weight balanced, not just from side to side, but also from front to back of the boat. As you can see, she's really fighting for control here. Like, she's quite far back on the split, but as we saw yesterday, she can make up to 8 seconds between now and the last split. So.
It's a lot to do. She was on the podium at the last World Cup race in Tartan in Slovenia. She took a silver medal there, but it doesn't look like she's going to make it through into the final today. Maybe I'm too premature, but she's left herself a lot to do and running out of gates to find the time.
Yeah, I mean, she's refocused amazingly well and she's really nailing the bottom section, but I don't think this is going to be fast enough, which is a shame because you can see the standard of her paddling at the bottom of the course.
Yeah, there's 6th place there for Victoria Wolfhard of Austria, so that's a bit of a surprise there. I don't think that will be enough. Remember, it's the top 10 from this semi-final, 30 boats racing, that will go through into this afternoon's final. And on course now for Great Britain, Bethan Forrow. So she has been on the podium earlier on this season at the European Championships, and she made it through into the Senior World Championship final in 2018 in Rio de Janeiro in her first year on the senior circuit.
Yeah, Beth's getting a lot of experience on the international circuit. We saw her put down the fastest run time in the second heats, but we would have also seen her in the first heats with that time going in second, just behind Jess Fox. So she's really on form this week. She's really using the water. Leipzig's similar to London in a lot of ways, so I think Beth can maybe feel the advantage of training there full time.
Well, let's see. She's picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 7, and she was in touch on the early split, but this is where the time is won and lost, and it's a good line from 11 to 12 for Beth Forrow there.
That was a beautiful upstream in gate 12 there, like really nice flat cross across the stopper. You can see her bring her nose around to get across the back of this next stopper. I think she's going to start making up time here. 2 touches is a lot of penalty time to be added, but I think her speed on the boat's really good now.
She's definitely found the rhythm, but 7.5 seconds down, mainly on the basis of those 2 penalties. Then she's certainly got this water tamed. She's working well in harmony with the white water, but it's interesting to see. And this sprint to the finish just seems to take forever.
It is a really long sprint to the finish, especially because you have to jump the last wave, and it's like that. It's kind of difficult to control the boat through that section. She's not happy with that, but I think you could really see the standard of her paddling and the harder moves on the course, so she can be really proud of that.
I'd agree. 6th place there for Bethan Forrow for Great Britain. I don't think that'll be enough for the final, but she'd have given herself a chance if she'd kept it clean. But next up, it's Elena Mikosi, 4th at the Junior World Championships this year. So another up-and-coming paddler. And the women's C1 is, dominated by majority of people are probably under 23. There's a number of athletes over 23, but it's really a growing discipline. And great to see all these young athletes making their mark. And, making their mark they are because, at the moment, Elena Mikosi of Italy is up on the split.
Yeah, she's really charging down the course at the moment. She's keeping her boat really flat, sliding a little low into gate 11 there, 10 into gate 10 at the upstream. But she's super attacky, that you can see that she's really trying to lift the boat over the stoppers rather than letting them weigh her down.
Well, she'd have lost a bit of time by dropping low into the upstream gate 10, but so far no penalties as she runs into the upstream gate 12.
That was a great upstream in gate 12. You can see that she kept her boat balanced in all 4 sides there. She's just making sure she's tidy around these next 2 gates and using the stopper to cross to the upstream. She's going to have to bring her nose down now to get under the upstream clean, and she's done that really well, like managing the water there.
Yeah, and the course designers spent a lot of time at the beginning of the day and throughout the day monitoring the pole heights, because it doesn't matter how good the course design is, then a race can be spoilt by either pole heights that are too low or too high. And I think over the course of this weekend they've done a good job, and the athletes have been challenged, but the pole heights have been just right to allow people to attack the course.
Elena's really smashed this run. She's done all the hard moves really, really well, and she's attacked the whole way down, so she's super stoked with that.
Into 5th place, and she should be. Clean run there for Elena Mikosi of Italy. A really aggressive paddling style, and it's interesting to see the different styles. You know, Bethan was a little bit more flowing, and you've got some who are a little bit more attacking. But next it's Shi Chen of the People's Republic of China. Already a penalty picked up on the upstream gate 3.
Yeah, we'll see. The Chinese C1 ladies have quite a distinctive style because they have had a lot of input from Michelle Martican. So you'll see that really steady upstream hand, top hand on their paddle, and they really, on their crossbow, they'll tend to do that rather than switch. We have seen her switch once so far, but already I was counting 3 or 4 from the other girls. It's number 2.
Well, she is up on the split on the top section, but we've seen that, well, throughout the semi-finals so far, but we saw that a lot yesterday. People finding time on the top, but the critical section is in this middle and bottom section. Doesn't matter how fast you are at the top, you've got to be able to hold it together, and some of that will be about managing your energy levels, making sure that you've still got something left in the tank for this technically demanding bottom section.
I think energy levels and making sure that you're into the upstreams tight. We can see a lot of time being lost by people sliding off the back of stoppers. It's really important to keep pressure on the upstream blade.
So Shi Chen of the People's Republic of China. Well, best result this season, 11th in the first World Cup of the season at Lee Valley in Great Britain. Since then, she was 31st in Tartzen, the last World Cup before the break over the summer. And she was in the top 20 at the World Championships last year. Now, coming to the finish, she has got that 2-second penalty, but it looks like it might challenge for a top 3. It does indeed. Into second place for Shi Chen of the People's Republic of China. So we've had 12 boats down now in this 30-boat semi-final, and the fastest 10 boats will progress through to the final, and that final is this afternoon, 12 o'clock Central European time. So we're live from Markkleeberg in Germany for the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4. It's women's C1 semi-finals, and on course now is Clara Olazabal of Spain.
Clara just really nailed the first few gates combination. That first gate isn't easy, especially if you only have one blade to be the option to recover with, but she really smashed that. I wonder if she's going to try forwards here. I think so. This is one of the first people we've seen go forwards, and she really nailed it. It's awesome, and she's 2 seconds off on the split.
That was good racing, 1.58 the advantage, and well, can she extend it? This is the critical move. A lot of people not quite managed to get in and out on 10. That's not bad, but there have been better moves.
Yeah, it's just about how clean she can go through this next section without having to stop paddling. So you can see a lot of people ducking off the poles and slowing the boat down. She's staying super flat there, really nice and tight into that upstream. Just need to make sure that she can keep sprinting through the next section rather than slowing down to not touch the gate. That was pretty nice. And she just took a little touch with her nose there, but I think she's getting into this upstream nice enough to recover the time perhaps.
Yeah, it's looking smooth, but a penalty picked up on the downstream gate 14. Didn't see that, but it's going to be it's going to just hamper her opportunity to progress into the final.
You saw her use the far right side of that curl, and the stop is pretty interesting in that move because the main part of the stop is right in the middle, and then it kind of drops off to the side. So if you want good projection from one side to the other, you need to go almost to one side of a gate.
Yes, we've seen a few penalties because people are really taking that right-hand side, just going a little bit too far. But Clara Olazabal of Spain goes into second place, 1:12.63, and that includes a 2-second penalty. So Nerea Villarubla still leading for Spain, ahead of Clara Olazabal of Spain, and then Monika Skachova of Slovakia. That's the top 3. Next it is Evie Liebfarth of the United States of America, who has announced her arrival on the circuit in a big way over the course of the World Cup Series. Just 15 years of age, and well, she made the podium for the first time at the World Cup 3 in Tartzen, Slovenia. She dropped round, a little bit of time lost there on the downstream gate 6, but not quite the top section she might have liked.
Yeah, Evie's really made a mark on the World Cup circuit this year. It's really cool to see her race, especially she's got such a distinctive style as well. She's coming a little low into gate 10, but I reckon, like yesterday, we'll see her make a big difference in the bottom of the course.
Well, she's lost quite a lot of time on that early split, but like you say, Amber, it is an opportunity now for her to dig in, stay focused, and can she make it another World Cup final in just her first year on the circuit?
Yeah, you can see her struggling to keep the run on the boat around the corner, and it might be because she was thrown off a little from her jump from the upstream in gate 10. This is a really physical course, and she's trying that on her crossbow, which is really brave, but also worked quite well actually to get into the upstream, but she is pretty far back on the split now.
Yes, it's interesting that a lot of the athletes would switch on that move, so change the hand that they're holding the paddle in. But Evie committed well to the crossbow, showing her skills, but it added a little bit more to the time loss as she got held in that stopper. So Evie Leadpath of the United States of America, unlikely, unfortunately, to progress into the final, but still a name very much to watch as she comes into the finish line.
You can see she couldn't find the T-piece on her paddle when she switched that last one, so that would have been a really hard sprint to the finish. That was a really good effort though. It's really cool to see her going as hard as she can. This is Ellis Miller from London coming up next. Ellis also trains full-time on Lee Valley. She's really like a young athlete, but she's super experienced and a really good sportswoman, so I'm super excited to see how she can do today.
Well, 2 British boats in this 30-boat semi-final, and well, she's taking a direct line to 7. Going for the spin, and well, she has the advantage at the moment, but we've seen almost everybody take that advantage on the top section, but it's all about this section here from gate 6 through to around about gate 15. That's where the time seems to be trading hands.
Yeah, it's how much speed you can take from the top section. We saw Nuria Villarubla carrying her speed from gate 1 all the way to the finish line, so hopefully we'll see Ellis put some more speed on the boat. And see her staying super flat there but still sliding a little. It's so hard to balance your weight in that stopper because if you're not over the centre line before you jump, you can end up losing your tail.
Yes, and that's a little bit happened there for Ellis Miller of Great Britain as she comes into the split time. 7.25 down on race leader Nuria Villarubla of Spain. And a penalty picked up there on the upstream 15.
So she's really moving the boat nicely through this last section. We'll just see how far right she can go to come into this upstream. That's good, just keep the boat balanced. She just had a last minute switch there just to get as much speed as she can out of this last up.
2 gates to go now, and it is a respectable run for Ellis Miller of Great Britain, but it's not going to be enough for a place in the final, as just having to duck off the final gate, make sure that that's clean. Into 12th place for Ellis Miller of Great Britain. Great experience, done herself proud there, but it won't be a place in the final. Well, here's someone who may well challenge the race leader Nuria Villarubla of Spain, because it's Lucie Baudu of France, who has had a pretty strong season in 2019 as well all the paddlers vie for internal competition really within their nation to show who is the best boat for the games.
Yeah, Lucy's had a really great season so far. It's nice to see her in the senior team for both categories now, so she has an opportunity to race at her standard. She just took a touch on gate 7 there. That's actually a really nice fast spin, so I wonder if that will actually have any time on it. Nuria Villarubla's run was clean, so I think if you're right about 105 being the fastest time, you can afford a 2-second penalty, but she's also taking 10 really low.
She is, well, Lucy, I don't know what. Lucy started the season really well, 4th at Lee Valley at the first World Cup of the ICF Canoe Slalom season. She had a 5th at the European Championships, but the penalties now adding up. Just takes a 2-second penalty, a touch on that downstream gate 11, and we'll see on the split she's now trailing by over 7.5 seconds.
It's just these upstreams, if you come too low into them, it's so hard to keep the speed running up them, because while the water's really pushy, the eddies are really passive as well. So,
well, at the moment it is still Nuria Villarubla of Spain leading 108.23, a great run. Clara Olazabal again of Spain in 2nd place, and Monika Skachova of Slovakia, early runner, is still in 3rd place. We're at the halfway point in this women's C1 semi-final here in Markkleeberg in Germany. 15 boats to go, and Lucie Baudu of France looks like she may well be eliminated at this stage in the competition, into 11th place, and disappointment there for Lucie, not going to progress into that 10-boat final.
As Kate coming from Australia, Kate's a young paddler, and we saw her easily make the semi-finals on her first run in both categories, so that was super cool, super stoked for her. She seems to have a really nice time on this course, because when you're with the water, everything's for free, and if you have to start fighting, especially at an early stage in the course, it becomes very difficult to keep running the boat.
Yeah, she's had a good season. We saw on the caption there she was a junior world championship bronze medalist, but she was 6th at the under-23 world championships this year. So as you say there, Amber, she has got a good fluid style, and it looks like she's found the groove on the top part of the course and staying in the groove. Now, can she get tight into the upstream 10?
Again, it's hard. It's such a hard gate to do, because the water before the stopper there really pushes up, and you have to be able to go from left to right as hard as you can, preferably with a very flat boat. I really think Kate's going to be able to sprint through this next section and nail the next stopper move. We'll see her try to keep her body weight neutral, and that was really nice into gate 12.
Just like Lucy Bourdou previously, though, she looks like she's taken a touch on the downstream of gate 11 and the front 11 buoyancy 8, and that will be disappointing for her. Also, just not quite getting the kick off the water there from 14 to 15 that she might have liked.
Yeah, she had a really heavy edge there, perhaps ruining the exit a little bit, but you can see she's fighting to the end. It's great to see standards in slalom going up so much that everyone knows that if you fight till the end, you can make up an amazing amount of time.
So the time to beat, 108.23. That's the time by our race leader from Spain, Nuria Villarubla. And at the moment, there's still a 4.5 second gap between first and second place. Kate Eckhart of Australia into third place. So a good run, 113.92. But it is still Spain 1-2 at the moment, as we get in, of course, to the faster paddlers from the heats.
Yeah, Kate had a really impressive sprint to the finish, and it just shows how much time you can make up even in the last 3 gates. But next we've got Sage Donnelly, a young paddler from the US. She's a really experienced whitewater paddler and also a really accomplished freestyle paddler.
Well, let's see what Sage Donnelly can do on this course. And I think so far, almost everybody has found a bit of time on our race leader, Villarubla, on the top part of the course, but they haven't been able to find the time in that middle section. Sage Donnelly, well, she's in touch, half a second down on Villarubla of Spain, and just lost a bit of time, stuck in the eddy line in gate 7.
I think we'll see her get quite tight into gate 10. Still sliding a little bit. That was one of the nicest approaches we've seen, though, because you can see her take the eddy line on the left hand side of the flow there to make sure that she got loads of speed going left to right.
I'd agree. That was well, she certainly set it up well. It unfortunately wasn't as kind to her as it could have been. But again, she's tidy in 11 to 12, and she's coming through the split. We'll get an indication in the next couple of seconds. But look at that, 8.18 seconds. So this is where Villarubla of Spain was so good on that run through gate 6 through to 15.
Yeah, you can see Sage is much more comfortable on her downstream blade in these staggers. She switched to a crossbar there, but you can see she's doing it to set up for this so that she's not having to lose speed on the boat at a critical moment.
Low in 19. So it's just slipping away a little bit now for Sage Donnelly of the United States of America. So through the last gate and now through this finish that almost feels like you're paddling uphill.
Yeah. It really does. This finish line is so far away.
And into 16th place, so disappointment there for Sage Donnelly of the United States of America. So 30 boats racing for just 10 spots in this Women's C1 final. That Women's C1 final will get underway at 12 o'clock Central European time today. It'll be live on Planet Canoe, so you can follow that through. But next on course, it's Marta Bettoncelli of Italy, who was bronze medalist at the Junior World Championships this year. So we could expect, can she build on that momentum? Confidence is a big thing in canoe slalom, and a good result really can help that confidence and your attacking style.
Massively. You can take good results and things with more pressure into the next race, or you can take them perhaps how they should be, which is just with a little bit of warmth and enjoying the confidence that can give you in your own ability.
Yeah, and we mustn't mistake confidence for arrogance, because Whitewater is no respecter of reputation, so if you don't respect the water, it will bite back. But Marta Bertoncelli of Italy is putting in a respectable run now. She comes through 13, now sets up this move 14 into the upstream 15, and she's in touch, and that's one of the better runs that we've had for quite some time. Can she hold on to that? Because that will put her in around about the 110 seconds, which would be in the mix for a place in the final.
Yeah, this is great. She's really putting together a nice solid run, a really clean one. She's waiting for the she had to do a really high brace there. I was just saying how flat she's managing to keep her boat, but that bit of water is really difficult to brace on because it's really aerated, so there's no pressure to put back on the blade if you're having trouble like that.
Oh, and unfortunately, the bottom part of the course, she's just lost that flow. She's battling it out, but it's really dropped a lot of time there. And into 9th place there for Bertoncelli of Italy, 1:16.02. It is a clean run, but I'm not sure that will be enough in 9th place to hold on for a place in the final. But here is another young upcoming paddler, Eva-Elina Hochevar, who was 6th at this year's Junior World Championships, 4th the previous year, and well, she made the final in the World Cup, and well, is the daughter of Simon Hochevar, who is a bit of a legend in the sport of men's C1, slalom and downriver in Slovenia.
Yeah, you can see her trying that moves forwards there, and she did it really nicely through that stagger sequence. See if she gets a good jump here into gate 10. That was super nice. She's getting really tight into the upstream. I think we'll see that carrying down the rest of the course if she can hold it together. Wow,
that's how to do gate 10. There'll be a few people looking at that on the video, preparing for finals, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, nice and smooth up to gate 12 as well. These stoppers are hard to keep your boat flat on, but she's doing a really nice job of this. She just needs to make sure she's nice and clean. See her sculling there a little to keep the boat flat as she goes in for the stagger. Coming quite low in the next upstream. I think she'll be a little annoyed with that, but it's looking good.
Well, she's in touch. 3.8 seconds down on race leader Villarubla of Spain, and that does include a 2-second penalty. So I think she may have just lost a bit more time around that gate 15.
Oh, this is great. The really nice last upstream. Just see if she can sprint all the way to the finish. You can see the boat slowing right down when people switch in this eddy bit. There, you can see it slow down. So I wonder if we're going to see some of the faster girls not switching in that section.
Well, let's see. It's a respectable run for Eva-Elina Hochevar of Slovenia into 3rd place, and a real cluster of people actually around about the 113 second mark, and she's got in at the right point in that. So 3rd place, she is, well, in a good position to maybe qualify into the final. Next up, Eva Rihova of the Czech Republic.
You can see her going quite high up the wave there. Having been on this course all week, I know for sure that you can get a really fast run if you start really low on the wave and ride up it. But you can see her just carrying the speed from up to up, and that was really nice in the first section. I think she'll be significantly up on the split.
Well, there she is, 1.39, the advantage for the Czech Republic. And of course, we'll be in the Czech Republic next weekend for the World Cup final. The ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup final will go to Prague in the Czech Republic, and double points up for grabs will crown the World Cup champions for 2019, and you can follow all that on Planet Canoe over the course of well, there'll be the heats on Friday, will be live streamed, and then we'll have full live stream and commentary Saturday and Sunday for the semi-finals and finals, and of course the Extreme Canoe Slalom World Championships are in Prague.
Oh, Eva just nailed gate 10. She really smashed the stop move as well. But she was super tight in one of the gap downs there. Just see if she can keep this speed going. And
you're right, she is really taking that challenge to the race leader, Nuria Villarubla of Spain. Just 2.6 down on the split, and very much still in contention. A little bit lower than she'd have liked on 19. She had to fight for that, but I think she's minimised the time loss there. So, well, to get into 2nd place, 1:12.63 is the total she needs to beat, and I think she's going to be inside that.
And we just saw that she didn't switch on the last eddy cross, so I think she kept the boat running really nicely through there. She can be pretty happy with that.
Well, it is a good run for Eva Riova of the Czech Republic. Into second place behind Nuria Villarubla of Spain, and in third place Clara Olazabal of Spain. That's the top three at the moment, and we have only 9 boats to go, so that is good news for Nuria Villarubla of Spain, the current race leader, because she is our first qualifier. As next on course for Australia is Noemi Fox. She joined me and gave insight in the commentary box yesterday during the women's kayak events, and well, she had lots of opportunity to watch the racing. This her opportunity to really get stuck in, get towards the final. 1.5 seconds up on the race leader, but a bit sticky again. That's such a tricky move, that 6-7-8 sequence.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely mesmerised by her switches. They're so fast. She's coming a little low into gate 10. She chose the double spin in the top section, and the risk of that is that you have to wait for the second spin and push back, and we did see Noemi lose a little bit of time there.
Well, she was 11th at the Under-23 Worlds this year, just missed out on the final, but she made a bronze medal at the Under-23 Worlds in 2018, so very capable of performing at the highest level, but a little bit off the back of the stopper there on 15, but great recovery as she paddles up the eddy.
Yeah, she's really holding the speed on the boat, even though the lines probably aren't what she's completely planned for, so she's nailing this, and we see that you need to be within 4.15 seconds of the leading time to qualify. So she's just managing the stopper there. She let her nose go downstream a little, and now she's having to really fight to get to the inside pole of the upstream. So
she's fighting a lot, but importantly she is still clean. And she's very much, I think, still in contention to qualify through to this final. As you say, Amber, 1:12.38 is the time to beat. She's not going to do that, but she may just sneak in 8th place. Well, that's a big cluster of people, isn't it, between 3rd and 8th place, all around the same kind of time. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait for Noemi Fox of Australia, but Eva Rihova of the Czech Republic is provisionally into the final. I say that because there isn't an asterisk showing by her name. That just means the video judges still reviewing her run as we watch Jasmin Schornberg of Germany. So she's a world champion in the kayak and has recently switched into the women's C1 event and has already started to make her mark and is up on the split. Just a second up.
Yeah, Yasmin put down an amazing performance yesterday and got 5th in the women's K1 final. It was a super tight final with Ricarda Funk dominating and ultimately provisionally securing her place in Tokyo 2020. So Yasmin will be dealing with the hurt from that and bringing it back together again for today, and I really hope we can see her put something amazing together in C1.
Well, let's watch her as she comes through gate 11. This has got to be a good move into the upstream gate 12, and it is tight, and she keeps the boat speed running.
Yeah, it was super flat and smooth. You can see that she paddles it regularly. She knows exactly how to use the stopper, and she's only 2.17 seconds down on the split, so I think she's well in touch to make the final. This
is very much in touch. If she can hold on to that deficit of 2 seconds, she will join the others in the final. Yeah. And, well, I've just noticed that it looks like Eva Riova of the Czech Republic has had a penalty added because she's disappeared off the top part of the screen. And yes, unfortunately, a 50-second penalty added on. I did say it's provisional. And well, let's concentrate on Jasmin Schornberg for now because it looks like she's going to take the final, and it's a good time, 1:09.72. And there's a really good example. Jasmin really just using the white water, not forcing it. She was working with it.
Yeah, you can really see that she was waiting for all the curl moves. I'm super stoked for her to make the final in this. I think she could really smash it.
So with 7 boats still to go, the 3 boats are confirmed. Nuria Villarubla of Spain, Jasmin Schornberg of Germany, Clara Olazabal of Spain. Those are our 3 qualifiers at the moment. Eva Elena Hodjeva of Slovenia, waiting to see if she's done enough. She's currently in 4th place, and she'll be effectively racing against Ella Bragazzi here on course for France.
Yeah, I wonder what she's going to choose in gate 6. 7. She's chosen the spin option, which is cool. She was a little high, so she had to wait for the inside pole to go past her before she turned back. But you see now she's probably going to get a better, wider approach to this gate. Although her nose is pretty downstream, though I think she's going to come a little low in gate 10. That was actually a lot nicer than we've seen a lot of people do it so far.
Yeah, good little move on 10. for Ella Bergazzi of France. She's from Poitiers in France, and I know the French team have got a lot of competition. Really, their women's kayak and their women's canoe athletes, not a lot to separate them, and so fierce competition for who is going to take their Tokyo Olympic place. Remember, just one place per country is available at the Olympic Games, so this is where it starts to get into the sharp end of the 4-year cycle.
Yeah, this season in 2019 and the start of 2020 is going to be some of the most exciting canoeing to watch in the world, because out of all the nations, you're only allowed to take one boat per category, when you have nations like Britain and Czech Republic, Slovakia, France, who are all fighting with some of the best paddlers in the world. To only have one is an amazing selection series. So.
Well, here Ella Bergazzi now coming through gate 20 and 21. It's the time is slipping away now, and it looks like she might end up the wrong side of this group of athletes. And yes, into 12th place for Ella Bergazzi of France. It's a respectable run there, but it's a clean run of 1:15.96 and not a place in the final.
This is Elena Appel. She's really young, and this is her first year being on the senior team in both boats. We just saw her take an early touch on gate 1, but I think there was a famous race where Jess Fox touched the first gate, and she said she remembers her dad saying that he won the World Championships touching the first gate, so I hope this legacy passes down.
And that was 1989 at Savage River, but I'm too young to remember that.
Oh, and she's still 2.38 up on the split. Her penalty hasn't been shown yet. But you can see that she's really local. She's going to use the water now to go direct under the right pole and hopefully get... she's a little low in 10, having to fight against the water there.
Well, Elena Appel of Germany, yeah, she's looks like she's put that mistake behind her. She's still got the pace, and she is a local paddler, so she has the opportunity to really use that knowledge of the course, but it's not always positive being a local paddler, because you feel a little bit more pressure, expectation from that home crowd as well, so you've got to manage and balance the two. But she is in touch.
She's in touch, and that was super nice into the upstream there. Yeah, the German crowd here is amazing. There's the siren on the bank. They've got 4 cones and stuff, so it's really, really exciting crowd to be part of.
I was disappointed not to see the gnomes, though. I've not seen the gnomes here. The German gnomes, there's a black one, a yellow one and a red one that normally travel around the circuit, but she's been given a 50-second penalty on gate 1.
That's really devastating, because I thought perhaps her head was inside the gate line.
And Elena Appel of Germany goes into 23rd place, and unfortunately that mistake at the top of the course proving costly. So well, her misfortune is Kate Eckhart of Australia's fortune, because she is into the final, as well as Eva Alina Hocheva of Slovenia. So 5 boats to go in this women's C1 semi-final, and on course now it is Brazil's Ana Satila.
Yeah, Anna's just taken up quite a big touch there on gate 3, but she's going to keep the boat running. She's a super strong paddler. Provisionally, it's her racing against Monika Skakova. So Monika will be really keen to make the final here, because it is also Slovakian Olympic selection. So everybody here has the chance to be the first woman to race in the C1 category at the Olympics. So.
Well, we saw Ana Satila in the women's kayak final yesterday. Produced a strong performance. She didn't quite make it on the podium. From memory, I think she was 4th, just knocked out at the end. But it's a good build-up to those World Championships and Olympic qualifiers. And Ana Satila is very, very attacking paddler. She takes a lot of risks. I said that in the kayak. She's the same in the canoe. When she gets it right, it can be phenomenal. But sometimes it's quite scary to watch.
Yeah.
You sort of feel for her as she's coming down the course. You want her to do well. She does take some risks, and well, she's in touch. 4.29. Well, if she can hold on to that, she will be in the final.
Yeah, she was 4.29 down, but she really smashed that upstream as well. She just took another touch there, but if she can keep the boat running, again, we've seen amazing amounts of times lost and won on this bottom section.
Wow, that's really good, 18 to 19.
Yeah.
But it needs to be, because of that extra touch that she picked up. Just a scrappy little touch on the downstream gate 16. She'll be annoyed with that.
Yeah, she's really flying through this bottom section, though. I think she's fairly safe into the... Yeah.
look at that. She qualifies through into third place. And interesting enough, that she really did take that bottom section apart. That's the fastest we've seen on there, because she actually, despite taking a 2-second penalty, she actually closed down the deficit there.
Yep. Yeah, it's incredible, like what the difference doing 3 gates really, really well.
So on course now for the Czech Republic, it is Teresa Fischerova, who is a Senior World Championship medalist, silver in Po in 2017, as well as a number of other titles at sort of junior and under 23 level. She's been on the podium. She'll be looking forward to that World Cup final next weekend in Prague. Double points up for grabs as well, but she's doing well so far. 1.68 seconds up, and takes on that move 6-7-8, makes it look easy.
Yeah, that was beautiful forwards, really nice. Was just see her keep the boat flat here to get really tight into 10. This is looking really nice. It's shaping up to have a great run.
Oh, she wraps it round on 10. That is a demonstration of how to do it. Now she's got to keep her focus as she comes into these upstream 12 and 15. This is where the time can trade hands.
Yeah, she's pushing it really nice around this pole. She's making sure she's wrapping around rather than going all the way in.
Yeah, nicely positioned here. Now she's got to use the water. Look at that,
oh,
just that 1/100th of a second off the race lead. Is she going to challenge our race leader, Nuria Villarubla of Spain? Well, remember, the athletes will race off in reverse order of this semi-final. So there is a little bit of...
this is such a nice bottom section. She's flying through these last few gates. You can see her really using the water. I don't think she'll be as out of breath as some of the other girls here either, because you can see it's just doing everything for her. Surely she's positioning her boat. Surely we're looking at new race leader here as she comes over the finish line. It's going to be new race lead just inside 107.85. Well done, Teresa Fischerova of the Czech Republic. You are into this afternoon's final. So at the moment it's Fischerova of the Czech Republic, Villarubla of Spain, Schomburg of Germany, Sotila of Brazil, Olafabel of Spain, Hochevar of Slovenia and Eckhart of Australia are qualifiers, with 3 boats still to go, and on course it is Nadine Verachnik of Austria. Yeah, Nadine's a really experienced paddler. She's got a really nice style and everyone enjoys to watch, so we'll see if she can use the water here. I know the Austrians have paddled here quite a lot before, so hopefully she's got a little bit of local knowledge that she can use.
Yeah, the Austrians, they've got a facility like this as well now in Vienna, but it's just well placed within Europe to be able to work your way around, not too far away to go into all these great courses around Central Europe. So she's up on the early split, which is always a good thing. And
she's also flying through this middle section. You can see that she's just attacking, not taking any cautious lines, which is really nice to see. Super nice into gate 12. And she's, so far, I don't think she's switched many times. She's got a really strong crossbow. It's a really distinctive style. Oh, so nice at the back of the stopper there. She's almost 4 seconds up on the split. This is shaping up to be an amazing run.
Wow, Nadine Verachnik of Austria is showing us how to do it here in Leipzig. And just a few gates to go. This is the critical move, though, into the upstream 19, and she delivers that.
Taking a late touch there, but I think it shouldn't be too much of a problem. You can see how strong her crossbow is. She spent a lot of time using it there, especially because she's a righty paddler, and this course that has been set by Dan Goddard is lefty.
Well, look at that, 103.88 her time, and that includes a 2-second penalty. So well done, Nadine Verachnik of Austria. She goes into the race lead and into the final. Teresa Fischerova of the Czech Republic in second. Nuria Villarubla of Spain, our race leader for so long, is in third. 2 to go.
Yes.
And, home water, Andrea Herzog of Germany on course.
This is great. Now the fastest time in the C1 women so far is only 10 seconds off the fastest C1 man yesterday. In fact, 8 seconds of raw time. So I wonder if we'll see anyone manage to go faster than that.
Well, we've got some top talent still to come. Andrea Herzog, you'd expect she could do something special. And of course got the world champion Jessica Fox of Australia will be our final paddler up next.
That was a super nice spin. You can see she spun just directly in front of the gate there so that she doesn't have to push back or wait for the poles.
Well, she's half a second down on race leader, but remember the race lead time has tumbled with our race leader Verachnik of Austria. So half a second in touch is still a good place to be for Andrea Herzog of Germany.
Yeah, and we still have Monika Skakova still waiting in 9th place to qualify. That's not easy waiting for somebody to mess up in our sport, but we'll see how it is on her bottom section.
Well, let's watch Andrea, because the expectation of the home crowd, they're making noise here in Markkleeberg in Germany, just outside Leipzig. And Andrea keeping it clean, and she's looking super composed.
Yeah, she's really calm. You can see how relaxed her style is. She's just waiting for the water to help her with the gates. That super nice cross into the last upstream. You can see her whip it around. I wonder if she'll switch in the last eddy, because I think you do lose a bit of time if you switch on that last sprint there.
Well, let's watch, because it's another good run. It's not going to challenge the race lead time of Verachnik of Austria, but her job is to get into the final. She will do that in style. Into second place for Germany's Andrea Herzog, and well done, you are into the final. So still Monika Skakova of Slovakia is waiting to see if she's done enough. And the last boat down, the winner of the heats, the world champion, world number 1 of Australia, it is Jessica Fox on course.
Yeah, Jess is the most accomplished paddler in slalom in history, so it's always great to watch her paddling. This season is particularly high pressure for everybody, because they're obviously waiting to see who's going to qualify the Olympic boat, so being able to keep a clear head and deliver at this kind of level is super impressive.
I heard a statistic the other day. I haven't checked it out for its verification, but it sounded good. She's 0.36 up, that if you took the Fox family as a country, the extended Fox family, they would be 6th in the all-time medal table.
I'm not surprised at all. She just smashed the stopper into gate 10. This is looking super nice. So she's really with the flow here, just relaxed, making sure she's timing her strokes.
Well, Jess Fox, she won't be taking any risks either in this semi-final. She's a very experienced competitor and knows what to do, but just a clumsy little touch there on downstream 11.
It's hard there because you have to go really tight to the inside pull. We've seen quite a few people slide low on this stopper. She is a little back on the split, but she has to be within 10 seconds to qualify, so I think she's pretty safe if she can keep this speed on the boat. Yeah,
I think you're right, but I think she'll be wanting to know where Nadine really found that time between the semi-finals and finals. I'm sure she'll be looking at video and trying to find the key points to do that, because of course Jessica Fox was on the podium. She was gold at Tarsen World Cup, the last World Cup, after a slow start to the season, and she'll be wanting to get back on the top step. 3rd place for Jessica Fox of Australia, and comfortably into this afternoon's final. So provisionally the results from the women's C1 semi-finals give us the top 10. They will race out in the final. That final will be live on Planet Canoe at 12 o'clock Central European time, but it's Nadine Verachnik of Austria who takes the honours in the semi-final and will go off last in the final. Andrea Herzog of Germany 2nd, Jessica Fox of Australia 3rd, Teresa Fisarova of the Czech Republic in 4th. So that final, 12 o'clock Central European time, it is also on Eurosport, and for those viewers in Europe, then the live stream may just be delayed until the end of that broadcast. But of course, for those viewers outside of Europe, it'll be 12 o'clock Central European time, but you can follow it all on Planet Canoe. What a semi-final that was.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the margins closing in C1 women. There's only 10 seconds between 1st and 10th place, and a few years ago it would have been double that, so really cool to see the girls so close to the C1 men as well. Nadine's time was amazing.
Well, yes, I was just going to say 101.88, that raw time. If she can do that in the final, then I'm not sure that anyone else can touch her.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 8 seconds behind the fastest C1 man with her raw time, so, you know, I'd be really excited to see someone go faster in the final.
Well, don't go away, because we'll be straight up with the men's K1 semi-final here live from the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4 in Markkleeberg in Germany. Perfect weather conditions. Well, in fact, a lot of the athletes complaining it's a little bit hot, not a lot of shade on site, but not a lot of wind either. So good racing conditions, certainly for the spectators. And well, lots of excitement in store. Those men's K1 finals will be at 12:40 Central European time. Will follow on from the women's C1 final. And then this afternoon at 1500 hours Central European time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll have the extreme canoe slalom quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals. That again will be live here on Planet Canoe. Well, here are the results of the women's canoe semi-final. The top 10 there will progress through into the final. Nadine Verachnik of Austria will go off last in that final. Kedak Eckhart of Australia, the young Australian, will start that final. And then those missing out, Monika Skachova, who was in that top 3 position for so long, just squeezed out in the end for Slovakia in 11th place. Noemi Fox of Australia, 13th. Great Britain's Bethan Farrow, 23rd. Those penalties creating problems for a place in the final. But here, live from the Markkleeberg whitewater course, here on the outskirts of Leipzig in Germany. Barely a cloud in sight, and certainly the temperature warming up. We're now ready for the men's K1 semi-final. 40 boats, the top 40 boats from the heats on Friday will race it out for, again, just 10 places in this afternoon's final. And there'll be intense competition. This category in the men's K1, the times are always super tight, the margins very limited, and 40 boats into 10 means the majority will be disappointed.
Yeah, it's such an intense semi-final, as always. The men's kayak is really, really tight. We have seen in recent years the men's C1 catching up in terms of margins, and women's K1 and C1 now as well, so everyone's getting faster. It's the sharp end of Olympic selection, so everyone's really on their A game.
Yeah, and look at that, that's the last 10 boats down showing on the screen, and Yuri Priskovich, the world champion of 2015, the Olympic bronze medalist, well, he's the World Cup leader after 3 races, and he was fastest in the heats. Well, there's Boris Neveu of France smiling. We'll see him in action, and well, I know he had to take a second run, didn't he, in the heats, so he'll be 10th off in the semi-final. But first to go from Great Britain is Hugh Swetnam there in the start pod. Great to see him in a semi-final. He's battled to get in. He's had great success in the past in the sport of canoe slalom. I think his best result was 5th at the 2009 World Championships in La Seu d'Urgell. And so Hugh Swetnam goes to set the pace that everyone else needs to chase in this men's K1 semi-final.
Yeah, Hugh's a really strong paddler. He'll be able to use the water here really well because it's kind of similar to London. So I really hope that he can go into this with confidence and enjoy the curl moves, because he knows it really well. We're just seeing him taking the down forwards a little early. You could see him put his reverse stroke in and it just let his nose drag, but he's actually carrying the speed really nicely. We'll see him jump with a neutral boat here and getting in as tight as he can into gate 10.
Well, pretty tidy at the start. We won't get any real indications of the split time until we see a few more boats coming down, but the job is fast and clean. That's what he needs to do here, and he could then set the pressure on others. Well, he's certainly tight on 12.
Yeah, he's just making sure that he's nice and composed for the next stagger. That was really nice across the back of the stopper into the next upstream. Just needs to make sure that he stays really calm and keeps the boat flat. He's been awarded a 50-second penalty on gate 12, and I think that's probably for a half head. You have to have your whole head and part of the boat go through the gate. Yeah,
it's difficult. I think from the camera angle we had, it's quite difficult to judge that, but I know that the judges, the video judges in particular, have multiple camera angles on that. So if that stands, that's a disappointment for Hugh Swetnam, because he has had a pretty flawless run as he comes down the course. A time of 96.38, but that 50-second penalty unfortunately, he will not progress into this afternoon's final. Judging by his body language, Amber, it looks like he knew that may well have been a 50.
Yeah, I think you could probably tell. The thing is especially with the K1 man, like, you have to go as hard as you can, which means you can't leave anything spare on the course, which means quite often there will be half heads, and you just have to accept it and see if you can show for the rest of the run what you're capable of. I'm really excited to see if we can go below 93. So our fastest run time for the C1 men yesterday was 93, and we've also seen the fastest forerunner, Lucas Stahl, do a 93 as well. So, if anyone,
yeah, I think we're going to go under 90, Amber. That's my prediction for these men's K1. And Alexander Slavkovsky managed 92 or something in the final yesterday. We're having a debate here in the commentary box.
It was 93.
Well, if Kevin McHugh was here, I would be putting my 10p on that it was started in 92. But anyway,
no, I was wrong. It was 92.
There we go. I'm right. But let's focus on the course. Belgium's Gabriel de Costa is on course, and looks like he's putting a good run together. It's clean, but just as I speak, he takes a 2-second penalty. So easy when you're so tight on the poles to be focused around, keeping your body off the pole, but you forget what your blade is doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because here, obviously, the water's really strong and it pushes your tail around, and you can see that he's having to recover from some line mistakes, so he's trying to use his tail to help himself, but actually it's really hard to do that here because it kind of takes your tail and does whatever it wants with it. So,
well, it's great to see Belgium. There's a couple of paddlers from Belgium in this competition. We've got 183 athletes racing from 26 different countries, and the focus really over the next month will be on qualifying through for those Olympic spots. But a time of 99.83 plus 4 seconds of penalty, 103.83 total for Gabriel de Costa of Belgium. But of course, we've still got 38 boats to come, and just 10 boats will go through into the final. So Mathieu Desnos of Brazil is up next.
Yeah, he's normally a really smooth paddler and he can use the water quite well, so it'll be interesting to see if he can translate it onto this course, which is for free if you can get with the water, and it's definitely not for free if you can't. So hopefully he relaxes into the flow a little more than he is now and finds these gates.
Well, he took a bronze medal at the Under-23 World Championships a couple of years ago, and he's had a good season so far as he tries to make his mark. His best result in the World Cup is 18th at the World Cup 3 in Tarsen in Slovenia.
He's a little dirty at the moment. We're seeing a couple of touches being picked up, but it's hard because you have to go so tight under the inside poles with a lot of these staggers. So even with the new STs and the Hiko jackpots, it's kind of hard to get as close as you need. You see there, he was centimetres off touching it, but great control into K12.
Yes, those penalties, especially in the margins that we're talking to get into that final, are probably going to be too costly, because whilst it does show he's up on the split time, don't forget we are in the early stages of this men's K1 semi-final. Only 2 other boats have gone down, and we've got 40 boats racing in total for the 10 spots in the final.
Yeah, that stop and move there can be devastating if you go too high, because it's very strong and it's really hard to get your nose out of it again, especially when you're at the bottom of the full run. Yeah, I think won't be too stoked with that run, but you know, we've got a lot of men to go and it'll be still exciting to watch. So.
Well, we're under, it's 95.67 was Mathieu Desnos' time, and whilst I don't think with those penalties it will be enough for sure, then it does show that the times are going to come well down. And as we were saying, I'm not sure it'll take under 90 seconds to qualify, but I think it'll take under 90 seconds to win this semi-final for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll see maybe the top 3 in the semi-final with quite a big gap, maybe under 90, and then the other 7 will be around 90, 91, I think.
Well,
call it.
Let's see, because actually on course is a paddler who could well do, he could put something down early on. Michael Pasiat of Poland, very, very quick. And he's up on the split so far.
Yeah, I think Michael trains a lot in Krakow, in Poland, and you'll see some characteristics of courses like Krakow and London are kind of reflected in places like Markkleeberg, which has quite an aggressive turn at the bottom of the course. It's also one of the only right-hand turns in slalom.
Yeah, and he's fourth in the World Cup standings after the first 3 races, and some of that is on the back of his 7th place at the Lee Valley World Cup, the first of the season. He was a finalist at the World Championships last year. He finished 9th there, and look at that, he's extended the advantage, 6.4 seconds now up, and well, he's clean. So Michał Pasiad of Poland is certainly setting the pace here. He's just got to keep it clean and keep it fast on the bottom section.
This is shaping up to be a super nice run. You can see he doesn't look as though he's really grinding at anything. He just looks like he's really relaxed and making sure every stroke does something. Keeping a nice sprint towards the end, I think. That is so lactic, this last sprint. I can feel the pain.
Well, 93.14 into first place. A clean run for Michał Pasiad of Poland, and a very respectable run. We'll have to wait and see. There is an asterisk against his name. That'll be just the video judges dotting the I's and crossing the T's, hopefully, for his run.
His upstream at gate 12 has really high pulls, so I think there's going to be a lot of asterisks in the semi-final.
Well, another quick paddler is on course now. For Austria, it's Mario Leitner. So he was Austria's Olympic representative at the Rio Olympic Games. So no stranger to the pressure of high-level competition. And, well, the pressure is mounting on these paddlers as we come into a month away from the World Championships and the sharp end of the season. It's the business end.
Oh, this is looking super smooth. You can see how reactive he is on the pulls. Again, it's starting his reverse a little early there, so he's having to recover in the eddy, but he's keeping the speed on the boat really nicely.
Well, he was the junior world champion in 2014, under 23 world silver in 2017. Mario Leitner sneaking it round 10, but you've got to keep the boat running as well. You can't force the lines too much. You've got to work with the white water on this course.
Yeah, if I was a K1 man on this semi-final, I'd be looking at how I can go as easily as possible between gates, and I'd also be looking at which upstreams it's essential to be high in.
And he's picked up a penalty on the downstream gate 13. That's, well, it's easy to do. You have to tuck under the pole, and it's easy just to brush the pole. Such is the proximity you need to be. Nice line on 18. That was the one we talked about earlier with the women's C1, how you need to be sneaking down the right-hand side using the kick, but you've got to be very close to the right-hand pole. And it looks like Mario Leitner of Austria is going to set a quick time, but that 2-second penalty, it is the fastest time of the day so far, but the 2-second penalty puts him into second place.
He's also got an asterisk next to his name. I think there'll be a lot of that in the semi-final. Yeah, it was great to see that he could put down a really fast time despite coming a little low in a couple of the upstreams, but I think his gate 10 really made a massive difference there. It was really good in and out.
Well, when we talk about asterisks next to the name, it's just something that's used that tells us the result is still provisional. When the asterisk comes off, the result is firm. And an example of that, Michał Pasiad of Poland now, the asterisk is off, the result stands 93.14. He is our race leader. So Germany's first boat here, Fabian Schweikert. And we'd expect big things from the German men's kayaks, because there's a bit of double significance. Not only is this a World Cup race on home water where they want to do well, but it's also the final part of the German Olympic team selection, and that won't help Fabian's cause.
No, but again, if you can keep the boat running, I think he can be pretty happy. You can see the Germans are so familiar with the water here because they're coming out the upstreams a lot tighter than everybody else, and they're able to... Oh, that was so good around gate 10 there.
Wow, that was amazing from Fabian Schweikert as he comes down towards the downstream gate 11. And well, this course in Leipzig is often used. The German team selection is often across 2 sites. The Augsburg in Germany, the venue from the 1972 Olympics, and then this course built in 2006. But 2 touches now, and Fabian Schweikert really up against it. Yeah,
I mean, 2 touches is really hard to recover, but he's actually smashing through the bottom part of the course, and the Germans are all super fit, so we'll see what he can do at this bottom section. You can, as we know, take a lot of time off.
Well, it's a time. Let's have a look and see what his raw time is. But it's going to have those 4 seconds of penalty included in the time, and into 4th place. So 90.46 is his raw time. It's the fastest time so far, but 4 seconds in penalties. He's left the door wide open there.
This is mad because we've only had 6 paddlers down, and already the top 3 are within 2 seconds of each other. So this is going to be a really tight semi-final, I think.
So 6 paddlers down, 34 to go if my maths is correct in this men's K1 semi-final. We're live from Markkleeberg in Germany. It's the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup, race 4 of 5. Next weekend we'll be in Prague in the Czech Republic for the double points World Cup final. Next up on course, Nico Testen of Slovenia, who has really started to make a name this season for himself, not just in this men's kayak event, but also in the men's canoe event.
That was great. Like, you don't see too many men doubling up, and it's really cool to see one like embracing both disciplines and actually really succeeding at both of them. He let his nose go in that last cross in the first few gates, so that was really cool to see him keeping the speed there. We'll just see how tight he can go under the pole here and get into gate 10. Super nice around gate 10, making sure that he gets his nose down nice and tight so that he can jump the stopper at the right place.
Well, Nico made the final in the first World Cup of the season in the men's K1 event at Lee Valley in Great Britain. He finished 9th in that final. So, and the characteristics of this course are quite similar to Lee Valley. So will he manage to hold on? Well, he has closed the deficit now, 0.69. It was bigger than that, and he's still paddling nice and tidily, but we know really he's going to have to be around about the 90-second mark, I think, to not have too much of a stressful wait at the bottom part of the course to see if he's done enough.
Yeah, he's really keeping speed on the boat here. I think this is going to shape up to be a really fast run.
Well, he's finished the gates. Now he's got to dig deep into that sprint and into first place, 92.43. And he turns a deficit on the 2 splits into a credit at the bottom. Nico Testen of Slovenia is our race leader, 92.43. And, he will still have a bit of a stressful wait, but he's done a good run, and they'll have to wait and see if that's enough.
Yeah, that was a really good run. He can be so stoked with that. I wonder if they'll have to go faster to be in the top 10. I don't know, it's really hard to say at the moment. We haven't even had 10 paddles down, so it's already really tight. This is David Lorente from Spain, coming down the course. He's a really strong paddler, and he also knows how to use the water really well, like all the Spanish. So.
Yeah, he was 6th as well. He made the final in the first World Cup of the season, again, Lee Valley in Great Britain. And so he's got the pace, and throughout the World Cup series he hasn't managed to get into the final in the next 2 races, but he has shown his pace, and he's doing that again. 0.94 up on Nico Testen of Slovenia.
He's cruising through this top section, just going a bit too tight in gate 9, but getting nice and tight into gate 10. We are seeing Fabian Schweikert still sitting in 3rd place with 2 touches, which he'll be gutted by because he'd be ahead by 2 seconds without those.
Well, David Lorente now coming into the upstream gate 12, whipping it round comfortably there, not leaving it for the judges to make the decision. He's doing it safely as he comes into 15. And look, he's level. He would be if he hadn't just taken that touch with his boat on the downstream gate 9.
Yeah, he's just making sure he's lifting his nose through these little waves here before he lines up for the crux stop and move. That was really nice, just controlling the nose. I think I'd have swept there. But we'll just see him carry this speed down. I think this is going to shape up to be a really fast run.
He's digging deep now. And he's not going to take the race lead, mainly because of that penalty, but into 5th place. Such is already the tightness at the top. And his time of 95.17 includes a 2-second penalty, and it's Nico Testen leading for Slovenia, ahead of Michał Pasiet of Poland and Fabian Schweikert of Germany. 8 boats down, 32 still to go in this men's K1 semi-final. And well, here's another big name for the sport, Jakub Grigar of Slovakia. So he is a 2-time under-23 world champion, a 2-time junior world champion, and he had a really dominant season in like 2015, 2016. Hasn't quite found that form on the senior circuit yet, but can he find that just coming into the World Championships at the right time?
Yeah, we saw Kubo in Rio put down a really nice run at the Olympic Games. He was pretty stoked with it. He said to me the only thing he'd like to change is that he needs to get as stronger as the other guys. We can see that he's having to duck off the poles a lot here. I hope he can get his balance back so that he can smash the rest of it. This is nice and tight in gate 10. I think to recover from 4 seconds of penalties, he's going to have to do something really special down here.
Yes, unfortunately, he's really attacked the top part of the course, and whilst it looks like he's got the pace, those 4 seconds of penalties are, well, they'll hang around like a bad smell, really.
Yeah, he just nailed gate 12, so hopefully we can see him catch the rest. He's going really tight into the stopper here. He's 3 seconds back, but that means his raw time's actually up on the fastest man.
Yeah, so this is the kind of time that's going to challenge around the 90-second mark, but those 4 seconds of penalty may well force him out of the 10-boat final. Again, really good direct line from 18 to 19. Really boat keeping moving, that momentum, and this is where he just needs to dig deep. This is where you dig into those energy reserves and just see how deep you can find the reserves. 96.66. Well, it's only good enough for 6th place, but that would, without the penalties, have put him into 2nd place.
Yeah, that's really hard. It's his Olympic selection as well, so we're seeing some really difficult racing here, especially for Slovakia.
So, Jakub Griga of Slovakia into 6th place. Nico Testen of Slovenia, still our race leader. And, well, next up for France, it is Boris Neveu, the world champion of 2014. And, well, hugely competitive athlete. And surely he can deliver something pretty special. He was 4th at the World Championships last year, and he will be wanting to exert his authority on those other French athletes to show that he is the top boat.
Yeah, he's great to watch because you can see the amount of control he has over his boat, even when the water's taking control of the tail a little. He's nearly 2 seconds up on the first split, which is super impressive because we're seeing a lot of guys match each other around this section, so super tight under the gate, river right pole of that gate, and so fast around gate 10. We'll see him take the tight line around this corner, I think, because it's faster, and it also means you can set up going right to left through the next gate.
Well, that's outstanding on 10 because that's quite risky because you can catch your tail on the back end as well, but he didn't do that. And Boris Neveu of France is really finding the time, and as he comes in towards the race lead, 1.5 seconds his advantage. Boris Neveu is our virtual race leader on course as he comes down through gate 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, this is a beautiful run. He's really putting it together here. You can see him just controlling from the middle of the boat. Both of the ends are really balanced.
Well, 2 gates stand between him and the place in the final. He's going to dig deep now into the finish, and it is going to go. Is it going to go under 90? Not quite, but into the race lead for Boris Neveu of France. 91.06 is his time, and well, I think that will be good enough for the final, but he will have to wait and see. 91.06 seconds, and Nico Testen 2nd for Slovenia. Michal Pasiut of Poland is in 3rd, and next up it is the first of our paddlers from Australia.
Yeah,
so just 2 paddlers for Australia in this 40 boat semi-final, and this is Angus Thompson, who was well, he's pretty new to the circuit, but he's has made a final at the 2014 Junior World Championships. This is his opportunity to make his mark at senior level.
Yeah, we've seen him make a lot of semi-finals in both C1 and K1, so I think he can be super stoked with his season so far. You can see him, he has a really broad range of skills. Just taking a little touch there on the down in the eddy, but actually keeping speed on the boat really nicely. Yeah, it's funny looking at the leading times at the moment. I think Fabian Schweikert must be sitting, kicking himself. I mean, it's not like we ever mean to touch gates, but he'd be leading by over a second without his 2 penalties. Super smooth into gate 12 there, super nice whip around the gate. We just need to see him. I think the pole here in gate 13 is quite low because you can see a lot of people really setting up slowly to make sure that they're nice and tidy around it.
Well, and you have to be tight on it, don't you, to really set up the move 14 and into the upstream 15. So as Angus Thompson now comes down into the downstream gate 18, still that blemish on his record, gate 7, that touch could be expensive, and it's going to be outside of the final today for Angus Thompson, but a respectable run for the Australian as he comes down to the finish line and into 98.98 and into 8th place for now after 11 boats down in this 40 boat semi-final. So 29 boats still to go, and of course they are the fastest 29 from the heats on Friday. Well, the boats are coming down thick and fast, and it's Marcello Beda of Italy now coming down the course, another one of the young fast breed of Italians. And of course the Italians had an outstanding World Cup 3 in Tartan in Slovenia, taking 3 out of the 4 individual gold medals in the canoe slalom event.
Oh, they're absolutely dominating this season. It's great. Like we saw Steffi take bronze yesterday as well. Yeah, they've really upped their game. The standard's gone up massively, and it's great to watch small paddle. They're super aggressive, but a lot of style as well. Like you can see there, he just smashed it down the eddy on a sweep, not even a reverse. So watch him set up under the right-hand pole here and try and keep the boat as flat as possible. He's having to do a rudder around this gate, which is maybe not ideal. So Boris Nouveau did a really, really fast sweep earlier on. So,
well, it'll be interesting to see there, because I think you're right. He's not quite as good as on gate 10, but he was super smooth on 7 and fast. So we'll get an indication as he comes towards gate 14 as to where he stacks up against race leader Boris Nouveau of France. And sure enough, there's nothing to separate them as he exits 15.
This is great, and I swear he made up a second on that corner sprint there as well. You could see the water just like it's coming straight off the bow of the boat. It was so fast.
So Marcello Beda of Italy is on the charge now as he comes down through gate 20 to 21. Can he be the first person to go under 90 seconds? Well, it's going to be close, but he's garaged nearly. Well, he's managed to recover it on the bottom section into second place, and so nearly that could have ended horribly for him, and he could have watched the finish line just meters away but not able to get to it. Marcello Beda of Italy into second place, and it was only that little mistake at the finish line that cost him.
Oh, I think he'll be so gutted with that. It's kind of hard to see where the bollards are. We saw a couple of K1 women yesterday actually spear them as well. That's hard.
Well, next up it is Anatoly Delassus of France, who is the 2019 Junior World Champion. He's also the Junior European Champion from this season, so he's had an outstanding summer, but already a penalty showing on the upstream gate 3.
Yeah, you can see he's had a great summer so far as well. I think his younger sister's racing too in C1 and K1 yesterday as well.
Yeah, the Delassus family really making their mark on canoe slalom from the French team. And it is currently Boris Nouveau of France leading this men's K1 semi-final. And it looks like, well, Anatoly Delassus has taken a leaf out of Boris's book. Superb on gate 10.
That was amazing in gate 10, really nice. Just see if he can keep really composed for the rest of the course. You can see he was a little wild at the start, but he's settled down into this pace, and I think if he can keep this speed, he'll be right up.
Well, the split it really just reflects the fact that he has a 2-second penalty on the upstream gate 3. It's well, he looks like he's racing with no fear, and that's what I love about watching some of the younger paddlers who are coming here for maybe their first or second World Cup, and they really throw caution to the wind and attack the course, and that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, he's putting down a really nice time. We see him make up quite a lot from the last split he was measured on.
Well, look at that, 94.07. That includes a 2-second penalty into 5th place. But, well, without the penalty, what if? That's a big word in canoe slalom. So Boris Nouveau still leading for France ahead of Marcello Beda of Italy. And Nico Teston of Slovenia is in 3rd place. As we have 27 boats still to go in this, the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4, live from Markkleeberg in Germany. The final of this men's K1 event will be live this afternoon, 12:40 in the afternoon Central European time, but join us at 12 o'clock because that's when the women's C1 final will get underway and will be followed by the men's K1.
Yeah, this is Max Carlsen from Sweden, and he's paddling quite an unusual boat. It's called a Manta. So it's cool to see some new brands that aren't Gala Sport and Vader breaking into the market, and he's really showcasing it here. His first section's super nice.
Well, he's in touch, just under a second down on a race lead, and be interesting to see how he gets on.
That was really nice into gate 10, perhaps not as nice as Boris's, but also super smooth, and we'll see how much speed he can put on the boat in this sprint section here.
Well, as he comes through 11, has to sneak under the pole, now has to take that risk, duck and dive. Well, we'll leave the judges to make a call on that one on 13 to 14, but we get the call now to see 3.2 is the deficit, but that's risen to 5.2 because he's taken a touch on gate 14.
It's hard because he's actually putting together a really good run. You can see he's attacking through everything. He's not made any line mistakes until right now. I'm really sorry, Max. I've just ruined it. He's just fighting till the end. That's super cool to see. But I think he can be really proud of that run because he didn't have to fight any of the stopper moves. He's just making sure to keep run on the boat.
I'd agree. Max, in some ways, it's unfortunate when an athlete makes a mistake, but I like to see it as we watch such outstanding paddlers coming down the course that they make it look easy. And sometimes, someone has to make a mistake, but we get to see just how good they are because just how the water can bite back. So respect there. A good run, but a couple of little mistakes, and Max Carlsen of Sweden will be into 12th place and unfortunately out of the final.
Yeah, they must have had really high quality second runs for the K1 men, because we even saw with the first 10 that the margin was really tight between first and third place. This is Lucas Guerrero from Switzerland. He trains normally in Basel, so it's a smaller course on the circuit, but he's an experienced paddler, so it'll be cool to see what he can do in Leipzig.
Yeah, his best result on the World Cup circuit this season has been 16th at World Cup 2, Bratislava in Slovakia, on the big water on that course on the River Danube. 1.5 seconds down though on this early part of the course.
You can see he's really controlled here. He's just setting up for a nice and his first person to punt in gate 10. That looked pretty fast. I don't think it's a bad option.
So if you're not sure about the rules, you can do what you like really in terms of that. The key thing is you mustn't touch the pole with any part of your body, your boat or your blade. But yes, if you need to accelerate by pushing off the wall, perfectly allowed.
He's 3.35 seconds back on the split. Again, you can see magic things happen at the bottom of the course here, but he's going to make sure that he's clean over all the stoppers and as fast as he can through the last upstream.
That's a lot to make up, 3.35 seconds on our race leader, especially given some of the big names still to come. We've got the likes of Peter Kauser to come, Yuri Priskovic. We've got Giovanni De Gennaro, the winner of the third World Cup race, the last World Cup on the circuit before this. And it is 94.85. It's a respectable run for the Swiss paddler Lucas Guerrero, but it isn't going to be enough, I fear, for a final.
Yeah, I think he got exactly the same time as Mario Leitner. So that's cool.
So next up, Martin Halsin of Slovakia. Well, we know he can be fast, and as you said, Amber, then extra significance, this race is part of the Slovak Olympic team selection. So lots of fierce competition between paddlers as well.
Yeah, Martin has an interesting job to do now because Jakub Grigar is currently sitting in 10th place, which means he's unlikely to qualify for the final, and we saw Andrej Malik have a nightmare in both of his qualifying runs on Friday, so he will not be competing in the semi-final. So Martin just needs to make the final here, and then he's guaranteed maximum points for Olympic selection. Yeah,
and Andrej Malik was the winner of the second race in the series, the World Cup in Bratislava.
Yeah, Andrej Malik's been on great form all season. So yeah, he'll be really gutted not racing this semi-final. But again, it's their best 3 out of 4 races, so nothing's over by any means. But it's really great to go into Olympic selection with a win under your belt.
Well, Martin Housen is a 2-time junior world champion, a 2-time under-23 world champion. He's deadly fast when he gets it right, and well, he's on track at the moment, just under a second down on race leader Boris Neveu of France, the world champion from 2014. Martin Housen, though, needs to find something special at the bottom if he's to close that gap.
He's nailed the last upstream. He didn't get his tail caught at all, and now we're just going to see him go as hard as he can between the last two gates. He's really forcing the boat now. You can see him digging as deep as he can. I wonder if he'll go into the lead.
Well, he has found time. He has found a little bit of time into second place for Martin Housen of Slovakia. He smiles. It's a clean run, and interestingly enough, such is the tightness of the competition, then top 5 places at the moment, all without any penalties.
It just shows you how good Boris's run was as well, because Martin had an almost perfect run there and is still almost a second back on Boris. So next we've got Fredrik Wallin from Sweden as well. It's really cool to see all the Swedish guys in the semi-final. They're showing a super high standard this year, especially going into Olympic selection. That's really nice to see.
Well, here comes Fredrik launching his run, his bid to make it into the top 10 and into his first ever senior World Cup final.
Yeah, he's a little wild at the top here. I think if he can stay calm, he's actually going really fast, so he can chill out a little bit, keep the run together.
It's interesting, isn't it? He's taken a 2-second penalty, but he's got the pace on the top section. 2 seconds down, and so important to really control the pace and not push it too hard. You can try too hard and lose that rhythm, lose the harmony with the white water, and suddenly the time slips away.
Yeah, totally. It's way too easy to put in strokes that don't have as much of an effect as you'd like. He's actually smoothened out a lot. Again, a really tight up from gate 12. I wish they wouldn't do that, but the gates are really high. We can see they put on a 50-second penalty for gate 12. It's just so hard, especially when the poles are high. It feels like you have freedom of movement, but you actually need to be extra careful to make sure the judges have no second guesses.
It's difficult as well, because once you've committed to that line, you've gone for the move, then the eddy actually takes you upstream quite quickly, so there's no real way back once you've committed for the move. And unfortunately for Fredrik, it is a 50-second penalty, and he will not progress into the final. But it's a respectable run as he comes down into the finish line. 17th place, and his time, well, 95.67 would be his raw time, plus 52 seconds in penalties. So it is still Boris Neveu of France leading the way. Then Martin Housen of Slovakia in second. Marcello Beda of Italy in third. As we have our first competitor from the People's Republic of China in this men's K1 semi-final. It's Xin Quang, who was the gold medalist at last year's Asian Games.
Yeah, the Chinese are really up in the game now. Especially you can see their collaboration with other elite paddlers in each discipline. It's really great to see Jin paddling at the top of his game here. This is looking super fast already, just he's only in gate 5.
And for a lot of the Asian countries, then the Asian Games is considered almost a higher honour than the Olympic Games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nations where it can be something like that, just because of the range of paddlers that end up competing. I think the Pan American Games are a massive deal for the USA and the South American teams, and also, of course, the European Championships for us are a massive event as well. So I can see why the Pan Asian Games. He's just getting caught up in gate 12 a little there. Just make sure that he can keep the speed on the boat. He's actually very in touch with Boris's time. He's only 1.39 seconds down. Well,
it's a good run here coming together, considering as well there's been a couple of mistakes there. He's still 1.39 down, so he is in touch with a top 3 place at this point in time, and is motoring down through 18. Good kick from 18 to 19. That enables him to sneak around the final upstream on this 6 upstream gate course. Now, what can he do? Xin Quang of the People's Republic of China is putting in a clean run. It's going to be a quick run, and into third place for Xinjiang of the People's Republic of China.
Oh, he doesn't look happy, but I think that was a really good run. I think he should be...
Well, he should be happy, but he did have... There is some time out there, isn't there? We saw that in the upstream gate 12. He really had to react on the circumstance. But, yeah, really strong performance. But Boris Neveu still leads for France, ahead of Martin Halsin of Slovakia.
Yeah, the absolute definitely where most of the speed is. It's really interesting now. The ICF rules have changed, so we can now have 8 upstreams in a course, which on somewhere like Leipzig, I'm super stoked they didn't put 8 ups in because it's already a very physical course. But it also means the margin for time differences is a lot higher as well. You can see Jing just lost a little time flattening off his boat there, and the aim is to be as pivotal as you can around the pole.
So on course now it is Martin Srabotnik of Slovenia.
That was very tight. Yeah, I think he got a half head in gate 7. He's going to have to recover, show what he can do for the rest of the run.
Unfortunately, yeah, the judges awarded 50-second penalty there on the downstream gate 7. So I think the judging that is in place at these events now is just so good to ensure a fair competition and reduce some of the subjectivity. So we have judges on the bank, but clearly they can only watch it live, can't they? They can make a decision in a split second. And now each of the gates has multiple camera angles so that replays can be used, video review. It's almost like the VAR from football. It's just that canoeing was ahead of football. So 18 to 19 here for Srabotnik of Slovenia. Well, it's good. He's flowing nicely, but it isn't going to be a place in the final, unfortunately, for Martin because of that 50-second penalty on gate 7. He knows it's gone for him, and only 18th place there. So Boris Neveu still leading for France. Martin Halsin of Slovakia in second. Marcello Veda of Italy in third. And we're getting towards the halfway point in this men's K1 semi-final. We're live from Markkleeberg in Germany, just on the outskirts of Leipzig, for this, the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4. Myself, Andy Murdoch, and alongside me, Amber Maslin from the Great Britain team. And, well, here's an exciting young paddler from New Zealand. It's Callum Gilbert, and he made the final at the first World Cup of the 2019 World Cup season.
Yeah, we're seeing Callum in his last year of under 23 now, so happily for him, he's showing that he can be extremely competitive at the senior end of racing. Just picking up a touch on the spin there, it's really hard to keep your nose under control in that situation, but he's fighting in the down and the eddy there, so I think if he can keep the speed on the boat, he should be alright. I know I keep saying that in the first split, but I really think they can get a lot back in the second half, though he's a little out of control in gate 10, so if he can put together a nice sprint here. I think we saw Marcello Veda put down an amazing sprint here, and I think he made up a lot of time there.
Well, let's watch Callum Gilbert there. He was 9th at the Under-23 World Championships this summer, so again, he made the final there. And, well, a name to watch, I think. And we're looking forward in 2021 for the ICF Canoe Slalom World Championships at junior and under-23 level. We'll be going to Auckland in New Zealand to the course at the Vero. And great to see the development of the sport and the impact that course is actually making on these athletes' performances.
Yeah, Vero is something kind of similar to London and here as well. It's that new style of man-made course with the rapid blocks that is really characteristic of slalom racing now. I think he will be stoked with that. Well,
Callum Gilbert goes into 9th place, and it is a respectable run. Run time 92.83, but that touch on gate 6 puts him down in the 9th place. So top 3 unchanged at the halfway point in this men's K1 semi-final. And don't forget, the 20 to go were the 20 fastest boats in the heats on the first run on Friday, first day of competition here in Markkleeberg.
Yeah, so after the next 10 votes, we'll start seeing Q signs starting to come up for qualified for the top 10.
So on course, Krzysztof Masajak of Poland, who again can be very fast if he finds his line. He was a finalist at Senior European Championships this year, and a lot of the Polish paddlers are very fast in a straight line. They're sort of used to paddling on that course in Krakow, and I guess have used to be chased by the Pelagics as well. So pace is nothing that the Polish are short of.
Yeah, I mean, this K1m standards so high, like, new names keep coming to the circuit every year and they're always at final standards, so that's really cool.
Well, approaching gate 11 to 12, sneaking under the pole in 11, tight but tidily round on the upstream gate 12. Good little move, looking composed, looking comfortable, and 2.4 seconds the deficit. Deceptive really, that he's lost a bit of time on course.
Yeah, I think just because he's having to react to the water a little bit, perhaps he's losing some of the forward speed on the boat. See, he's heavy in the stopper but really nice in the last upstream. We'll just see how much time he can make up on the last two gates.
Well, he was 2.4 seconds down on race leader Boris Neveu of France. Can he make up any of that time as he comes to the finish? And it's going to be outside. He makes a little bit of time up, but 6th place for Krzysztof Majszak of Poland. But it is still Boris Neveu of France leading ahead of Martin Halsin of Slovakia. Marcello Beda of Italy holding on to 3rd place with 19 boats still to go in this men's K1 semi-final. The final of the women's C1 will get underway at 12 o'clock Central European time, live from Markkleeberg, and the men's K1 final will follow on from that immediately at 12:40, so you can join us in that, what promises to be an intense competition.
We can see this is Isak Ostrom from Sweden. He's been having a great season so far, picking up some medals at the smaller ICF races and also making a couple of high results at the World Cups. He just took up an early penalty on gate 3 there, so he just needs to stay calm, fix it in the rest of the run and keep the speed on the boat.
Yeah, his best result in the World Cup series so far, 14th in Bratislava, the second World Cup of the season. But, well, big bounce. He has to control that on the run into the upstream gate 10. Did he get out without a penalty?
I don't know. It was a fast upstream in gate 10. You can see him putting the speed down on this flat water sprint. So far there's nothing come up. He's having to wait for the up in gate 12 there. Again, the poles are really high, so you just want to be absolutely sure you're getting your whole head into the gate.
So our course designers have set this 21 gate course, 15 downstream green and white gates, 6 red and white upstream gates. Dan Goddard and Michael Trummer have set this challenge, and I think it's a really good course in terms of challenging the athletes, but the pole heights, as you say, Amber, critical to whether the athletes will enjoy it or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's super hard here. He's chasing 4 seconds of penalties. He knows that's going to be really hard to catch up with. His time is still really good. It's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, disappointment there. 15th place for Isak Ostrom of Sweden, and he won't progress through into the final, unfortunately. Well, Germany will be getting ready because the second of 3 German paddlers is on course now, ready to start his run. It is Tim Maxiner, who, well, whenever you've seen him, it's so hard to break into the men's kayak German team that you don't see them race at the top level, Tim Maxiner, but whenever you see him, he's always got the pace.
Yeah, he's super fast. He's just one of loads of Germans that are super fast and could definitely make the final at this level, especially on his home course. We saw Sebastian Schubert miss out on the senior team this year, which was incredibly surprising, but also just shows the standards of the German paddlers. Yes,
indeed. And Tim, so far, really, well, I was going to say, really looking like he's on the pace. 1.24 seconds down, but he is good through that gate 6-7 sequence, which isn't included in that split.
See him letting the stopper give him boat some pre-10 so that he's able to just sweep out the up, and that's looking really fast. I think we'll see him start to make some time up on the next split.
So coached by Jürgen Köhler, Tim Maxiner now using the energy from that home crowd support to find some extra horsepower as he comes into the second split, and he's in touch. In fact, there is nothing to choose between him and race leader Boris Neveu in France, and that has ignited the crowd here.
He's getting so much speed off the boat there. Just watch him do this last curl move, super nice into the up, sweep around it, and nice exit as well. He just needs to put the power down now.
Tim Maxiner has timed his run to perfection now as he comes through the last gate. He's digging deep is he going to go into the final? Surely he's into the race lead and into first place.
Oh, he'll be so stoked with that. That was super fast, really nice run, and the first boat to go faster actually than Fabian Schweikert's raw time.
Well, great performance there from the German. Tim Maxiner takes the race lead at 90.10. Doesn't quite break the 90-second barrier, but he won't care because I think he's put himself in a prime position for a spot in the final. Boris Neveu of France in second place. Martin Halsen of Slovakia in third.
This is Juan Crespo for Spain. He'll be winding up really well for SEO, where the World Championships will be in a couple of weeks. So the Spanish are looking great at the moment.
Yeah, the Spanish must be really looking forward to home World Championships. La Seu de Hell, the venue from the 1992 Olympics, hosting the World Championships for the third time. Hosted them in 1999, 2009, and again in 2019. And well, Juan is up on the top section, nearly a second up. Can he hold on to it? He's one of those paddlers that he's either right on the money or he's nowhere to be found.
Well, that was really tight in gate 10. He just touched the pole coming out of it, but actually I think the speed on the boat will be really good. Yeah, Juan is either blisteringly fast or has a mistake somewhere in the course. I don't think that was a catastrophic mistake, so I think he can speed up on the next section.
No, but he is dropping time. Now we get the indication of the split. 4.27 seconds down on race leader Tim Maxiner of Germany. So
yeah, you can see him fighting to keep the boat dry. It's really hard at this section. He's just so lactic and he just fell in on his stopper.
He's got a roll, and again, mistake there for Juan Crespo, unfortunately. But, well, again, I do think it's good. We get to see just how good these athletes are, because when you make a mistake, the white water can really punish you hard. And Juan flipped over by the water there, having to roll back up, and only into 19th place. So it is still Tim Maxiner of Germany leading the way, ahead of Boris Neveu of France and Martin Halsen of Slovakia.
It's so hard, the last upper move, you need to show it a little bit of upstream edge to get the right kind of carve into the up. But yeah, it's just really difficult to keep your balance there, especially when you're so lactic at the end of a run.
So not long before we'll start to be able to confirm who is into the final. But next up on the course, it is Martin Duguid of Switzerland, who has had, well, he's raced in all the World Cups so far this season, and his best result ever, I think, is probably the 6th place he had at last year's European Championships, regularly in the teens in the World Cup series, but a penalty on the downstream gate 6.
The judges were incredibly quick to put the penalty on there, so we're not seeing delayed time or anything. He's actually up on the raw time split. That was really nice into gate 10 as well. Just he needs to keep the boat a little flatter in the upstreams to carry the speed out as well as in.
So the Swiss team represented here by Martin Duguid and also by Lucas Verro in this men's kayak semi-final. Now, can he hold on to be in touch with the race lead? Well, like you say, Amber, he is still in touch, but that penalty has put him adrift. 2.39 adrift because of that 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 6.
As you can see, he's not letting his boat slide at all here in the last bit. That was really heavy into the up left. I think perhaps he was getting some time back, but I think now he's going to really struggle. But you can see what a good fluid style he has. He's keeping the boat super light. He just needs to burn to the finish.
Well, it is going to be a quick time for Martin Duguid of Switzerland, 93.56. That includes a 2-second penalty. And, well, it puts him in 8th place. And another one who will be ruining that little touch on the downstream gate 6. Little punishment there to the boat. It was the paddle that did the damage. So Tim Maxiner of Germany still leading the way. And next up, well, always an exciting paddler to watch, Vavra Hradlek of the Czech Republic, world champion in 2013, Olympic silver medalist in 2012. Took a couple of years out, well, and out from the sport, but also took such as the competition for places, didn't get in the team, but he is starting to come back and find his form.
Yeah, the Czech Slalom team have one of the best K1m team in the world. any of them could win the Olympics for sure. They've got between them enough World Championship wins probably to do quite well as a nation just with 3 boats. He's whale up on the split. Vavra's a really good whitewater paddler as well, so I think we're seeing some really good technique in reading the water because it's so changeable here. It can 1 second be exactly how you planned it to be, and then the next second be really tight to the pole. So you can see him managing this with his approach.
Well, and he's a great character on the circuit, really popular, really good for the sport, helps to promote the sport. And Vavra Hradlek is on track. He is ahead of our race leader. He is on track to go under 90 seconds. That's a raw time, but he's still going to deliver these last few gates. How good would it be to see him back in a World Cup final? We haven't seen him in a final for a while.
Oh, he's just slipping a little low into the last upstream. He needs to gun it for the last bit. He just needs to keep the speed going through the last eddy. He knows how hard this is going to be, and everyone knows how hard you have to hurt. You have to go faster than that. Go.
Well, it's going to be outside the race lead, but into 3rd place for Vavra Hradlek of the Czech Republic. And, well, he's given himself a great chance of making it through into the final this afternoon. But
yeah,
he knows he's going to have to wait, doesn't he?
I think around 91 seconds is going to be the cut, but maybe even faster. Like, we've seen 2 people go at 90 seconds. I think you're right, we will see a few people go under 90.
Well, next up, wearing bib number 15, it is Antoine Launay of Portugal, who's lying 5th in the overall World Cup standings on the basis of his consistency over the series. And his best result actually being 12th at Lee Valley, so he hasn't actually made a final yet by my calculations this season. But
he's looking really fast in the first few gates. He did touch gate 3 hard enough to make gate 4 swing, which is quite hard, but he's actually still up on the split with his raw time. Just his 2-second penalty is putting him 1.3 seconds down.
Well, let's watch as he comes down into the upstream gate 10. This is where the people are really finding the time. He's certainly waving his head at that. The judges will look closely at that, and I feared that a 50-second penalty showing for Antoine Launay of Portugal. And I always think, when I was used to coach then, I always used to think that the athlete has a choice. They either make the decision for the judge by making sure that it's really clear, or if they take risks, they do leave that decision to the judge. And on that occasion, it's gone against him, and a 50-second penalty is incurred for Antoine.
It's difficult because from this camera angle, I thought it looked alright, but obviously there's several judges on each gate. There's video review as well, which is extensive. So I guess they have as accurate as they can be a timing system. Just it's so frustrating for athletes.
Well, that 50-second penalty puts him in 24th place, Antoine Launay. Unfortunately, on this occasion, it won't be a final, but I'm sure we'll see him back in action for the World Cup final next weekend in Prague. You can follow that all live through Planet Canoe.
We've got Benjamin Pope from Australia in the start blocks here. It's really good to see the Aussie guys all semi-finaling and all putting down really good runs.
Yeah, well, the 25-year-old, let's see what he can do, because there's still one Australian to go after Benjamin Pope, and that'll be Lucien Delfort, who will be looking to kick-start his season, because he hasn't had the consistency of form that we've seen and grown to expect of him in the past. But already a touch there for Benjamin Pope.
Gate 3 is hard not to touch because it's such a dynamic eddy there, depending where you jump. So some people are choosing to jump in above the pole, which makes it a tighter upstream, but with a higher exit, which can be dangerous for gate 4. Or you can just jump in below the pole and wind up for the next up. I think is probably what I'd choose. But
yeah, we were having a discussion yesterday on the men's C1 and the women's K1 semis and finals, and yeah, we were talking old school. You have to go old school into the upstream gate 3, really. Otherwise, it's quite high risk for the bows.
Yeah, I mean, the Germans are definitely the fastest here so far. They're the only ones to go 90 seconds, and they both went quite low in the gate, so I think it's better. Oh, he's actually up on the time, which is amazing because Max Leiner had such a good run. And
it's a good exit from...
he's just picked up another 2-second penalty. I think with 4 seconds of penalties, it's going to be really hard to make the final unless you do something insane.
Yeah, there's no way back, unfortunately, from 4 seconds of penalties. It's a great run, though, from Benjamin Pope of Australia. He shows he's got the pace, and it's interesting, those touches, that gate 3 and gate 16, and he is close. What was he? 92.21 plus 4 seconds of penalties, and 17th place for Benjamin Pope of Australia. So still one Australian to go in this 40-boat men's kayak semi-final. But it is Tim Maxiner leading for Germany, ahead of Boris Neveu of France and Vavra Radlek of the Czech Republic in third. And we have only 12 boats to go in this semi-final. So not long before we start to confirm who is in. And well, up next for Poland, Dariusz Popiela. Dariusz always super quick. 6th overall in the World Cup standings after the first 3 races.
I remember the first time watching Dariusz racing was in Tassen, and I was just amazed because I don't think I've ever seen someone sprint down the drop at Tassen. But he was really I think he won that race as well. But like such a strong paddler, I think we're going to see that really helping him in Leipzig. He's even with a 2-second penalty up on the split, which is amazing. He went a bit new style into gate 3, which we've decided isn't the way to do it, but it's obviously working for him because he's keeping the speed. That was really nice out of gate 10, so fast there.
Well, I was trying to think of a superlative there because, yes, he took a touch on 3, but he's managed to absorb it so far. So, Dariusz Popiela, silver medalist from this year's European Championships. He's actually only made one final this season. He was 11th in the most recent event, I think, which obviously always hard to not make the final, but 11th is just so close. Dariusz so strong and digging deep as he comes down.
Yeah. It really shows how fast Boris Neveu and Tim Maxiner were in the middle section. He's slipping low into the last up left. This is really devastating to see because the up left's already quite low, so you just need to take a little bit of the curl to really cruise in at high speed. But this is proper lactic. You can see now because his head's going. His paddle's really crossing over, and he's going to be really good with that.
Oh, it slipped away at the bottom, didn't it, for Dariusz Popiela into 10th place for Poland, 93.88, and the time slipped away, but it was, again, it's a good example. He only really made one mistake there, wasn't it? He dropped a bit low into 19. Yes, he had a penalty as well, but the tightness of the racing is, well, supreme. Here's the Junior World Champion of 2017 for Austria, Felix Oschmaut, and well, he'll be looking already an early touch. Is that a touch on gate 1? Yes, it is.
Yeah, touching gate 1 is never easy. You have the whole full run to absorb it, so that's not an easy one to re-distract yourself with. He's keeping some nice speed through this cross. I think if he can just stay really, really calm and just keep the boat flat as possible.
Well, he was 4th at the Under-23 World Championships this year in Krakow in Poland. And, well, looks like he's put it behind him, his mistake for sure. So he's keeping it composed, and lovely move on 10. But that's a good example of where the back end did touch the wall. But some of the athletes are managing to do that without catching the tail on the wall.
Yeah, so I think the best way to do gate 10, if you can, which a lot of the K1m men can, is to start doing the upstream outside of the gate and then just to rotate with your head around the pole. Because that means you're less likely to smash your tail on the bottom. And you're also going to get as tight an exit as possible to take the shortest route around the corner.
Well, 3.5 seconds down on the split, and now another penalty on the downstream gate 14. So it's slipping away for the former junior world champion Felix Oschmaut of Germany.
Yeah, 4 seconds penalties is going to be super hard to absorb even with a fast run time. Oh, you can see him really sprinting. This is such a grim bit of the course.
Well, he looks like he's still got energy in the tank there, but 20th place. Such the margins, look, 97.22 his total, and it's Tim Maxiner still sitting in pole position for Germany as we have 10 boats to go. So we'll start to confirm who is into the 10-boat men's kayak final this afternoon here in Markkleeberg in Germany. Top 3 at the moment: Tim Maxiner of Germany, Boris Neveu of France, and Vavra Radlek of the Czech Republic. So for France now, it is Quentin Bergy who is on course, a bronze medalist at this year's European Championships, and super fast when he finds his groove.
Yeah, you can see him just sliding in behind the poles there, which gives him a great exit for the cross. He looks really calm. I'm really happy to see that his boat's staying really stable and even. Just trying not to touch the inside pole with the nose of his boat. He's up on the split.
He did well to recover that because, the bow lifted up, but he stayed composed. He just took the foot off the pedal a little bit and kept it calm. So up on the split. This is where, though, the likes of Boris Naveau and Tim Maxiner found the time. It was tidy, but probably not the fastest.
Yeah, I thought that would have been slower than it actually ended up being, because he ended up being able to pivot around the gate at the end of the upstream, not at the start. That was super fast in gate 12. I think he'll be a little bit down on the split, but again, the bottom section's the most important. So
2.58 down on the split, so can't afford to slip away anymore. In fact, really needs to find some time. Quentin Bergy, such is the tightness of racing here. Once you've dropped 2.5 seconds, so hard to find it, and he's a little bit lower than he would have liked in 19.
Yeah, he's just cruising to the last two gates. He just has to dig deep and sprint as hard as he can to the finish now.
Well, 2 strokes to the finish, and it's a 95.35, and only 17th place. But his bad news means that Germany have a finalist. Tim Maxiner is into the final, 90.10, and of course we still have another German paddler to come down. The world champion of 2018, Hannes Aigner, will be up after Zina Ivaldi, who is on the start as we speak for Italy.
Yeah, Zena's been having a great season so far. You can see him and his brother Rafa. Really a great team along with all the Italians. They're all working together really well and getting some amazing results this season. That was a very high exit for the cross there, but actually he's holding, I'm not sure where he bunted, but he's actually holding the speed quite well. I think this curl's quite a difficult one to use from gate 4 to 5, just because he's picking up a touch.
I think that was a water splash. No, I stand corrected. It was a touch. I thought it was a water splash there, but he's picked up a penalty. So the Italian team really focus on their training around Ivrea in Italy. It's played host to a number of internationals and will continue to host events into the future. So Zino, though, now coming into the upstream gate 12, and we'll get an indication as to how expensive that penalty will be when he comes through the split just now.
You can see him speeding up, though. I think he's calmed down a little and is starting to really put some pressure on the blades. So I think if we can see him nail this stop and move.
Well, 2.17 was his deficit, and if he stays around that, that'll put him around about 5th place. So he does need to squeeze it a little bit on the bottom section. That penalty will be costly because he's put in a great run here. It's going to be close to 92 seconds, 93.09, 7th place. And interesting, did you notice that the 2-second penalty has gone?
Has it? You were right. It was a water
splash.
My video judging is awful. I could never do it.
So only 7th place though for Zino Ivaldi of Italy, but it is a clean run. That's penalty removed on gate 6. Tim Maxiner and Boris Naveau are first 2 qualified finalists confirmed. So Vavra Hradlek of the Czech Republic sitting in 3rd place, waiting to see. But it's Hannes Aigner, the world champion of 2018, for Germany on course now. Remembering this is his opportunity. If he finishes as the top men's kayak boat of the German team in this competition, he will secure the Olympic nomination for the German team for Tokyo. They then just have to go and qualify the place at the World Championships for Germany.
You can see, he just missed a stroke there on the inside, but he's still off on the split. You can see how familiar he finds this water. He's not having to fight anywhere. He's just placing its boat exactly where it needs to be.
Well, he was 3rd at the London 2012 Olympic Games, 4th in Rio, and very consistent and tends to raise his game just when it matters, and took his first world title in Rio in 2018.
This is such a nice run. I think he's going to be up on this split. Slightly down, but I think he would be safe. Just now the margin for the final is 0.96 seconds off the leading time, so this is looking awesome.
Hannes Aigner is looking composed. The job is just to get into the final, really, and then he can look at what he does to take risks in that final. But he's picked up a 2-second penalty on 19, so suddenly he does need to hang about. But I think he could still qualify through with this 2-second penalty into 5th place.
That's not safe by any means. He needs 2 more people to go in behind him to definitely be qualified. We're looking at Martin Halsen qualifying next after Vavra Hradilek, who's just qualified for the finals.
Yeah, so it is tight at the top. Hannes Aigner of Germany will have to sit and wait because there are still 7 boats to go in this men's kayak semi-final, and so he is not secure at this point. Tim Maxiner, Boris Neveu and Vavra Hradilek are, as we watch the winner of the World Cup 3 in Tarsen in Slovenia. It is Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy, who, well, when he finds his groove, he can be outstanding. 3 World Cup wins to his name. Can he do it? Back-to-back wins here in Markkleeberg to add to World Cup 3.
Yeah, he's such a strong fast paddler. I think he'll really suit Leipzig. He's already picking up a 2-second penalty on gate 2. He's only a second behind on the split though, and just now we can see that you're only within 1.32 seconds of the fastest time. I say only. Boris and Tim Maxiner had basically perfect runs, so he's choosing the slightly wider jump there on the corner. We've seen the top 3 guys so far take a tighter line.
And it's interesting, his move on the upstream gate 10 looked a little bit more conventional, but some of that is linked to the way he paddles. You know, he's got a big frame to shift around.
Yeah.
You know, he is a superbly powerful paddler because he's actually quite tall, a bit heavier than some of the more, I guess, shorter, lighter paddlers. And now Giovanni comes into the upstream gate 19, very nicely done there, gets the exit. And, well, that 2-second penalty, how significant will it be as he comes towards the finish line?
Look at that finish sprint, that's insane. He's just into 6th place. So Martin Halsen is safe into the final. Hannes Aigner next to qualify, and then Giovanni's going to have to wait and see.
Yes, indeed. So, well, that's probably good news for Hannes Aigner, for German fans, is that it puts him another step closer to the final. But Giovanni Gennaro having to wait and see. But I think, well, we'll have to wait and see. But he could be okay.
So if anyone can go into 90 seconds, it's definitely going to be Peter Kauser, currently ranked world number 1.
6 to go. Peter Kauser of Slovenia, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio, the 2-time world champion, and pretty much won everything in this sport, wearing the world number 1 bib for a reason. And normally, Peter Kauser so consistent.
Super smooth. We haven't seen anyone trying to go forwards on gate 5, and I'm not too surprised either, because I think it really suits a nice exit on the spin. He's nearly a second up on the split, and you can see how calm and controlled he is.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point there, Amber, that with Peter, he is fast, but he also always looks in control and never looks too much of a risk taker.
Yeah, and you can see even here on the flat sprint, he's really picking his strokes and deciding which ones to use. And his boat almost accelerates by itself into the upstream.
Yeah, and he took the silver medal on his home water in Tarsen in Slovenia. And look, he is our virtual race leader. 4/100ths of a second up on Tim Maxiner of Germany, Peter Kauser of Slovenia. And in that World Cup 3, where Giovanni Di Gennaro took the win, it was just a few hundredths that separated them, stopped him getting a gold medal in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, I don't know where people are going to start making up time in the middle section now, because him and Maxiner were perfect through there. He was very close to the bollards there, but he's into 2nd place and safely qualified for the next round.
Well done, Peter. Peter Kauser is into the final in 2nd place. Tim Maxiner still leading for Germany, and Boris Neveu of France in 3rd. So job done for the world number 1. So 5 to go in this men's K1 semi-final. We're live from Markkleeberg in Germany. And the finals of the women's C1 will get underway 12 o'clock Central European time, at 12:40 well, the men's K1 final will be. But on course, Samuel Hernandez of Spain is now on course. who is, well, again, he's another really quick paddler, but not as consistent as the likes of Peter Kauser, who we've just watched.
Yeah, Sam has had some amazing results over the seasons, but also had some races I think you'd probably rather forget. But he's so good to watch because, again, he's a smaller, lighter paddler. You'll see him using classic techniques, and he's nearly a second up on the split. So far we've seen a lot of people be faster on the first split, which just shows you how controlled the top 3 guys were being in that section. Really nice in gate 10. I hope he can absorb that 2-second penalty.
Well, it's interesting, yeah, because he is super fast. 5th at the London 2012 Olympic Games, probably the greatest achievement in his career, and really motoring down this course. But that 2-second penalty on gate 8, well, there was no doubt about the penalty. Whacked it with his paddle, and look, 4.22 seconds now, because he's picked up a penalty on 13 as well.
Oh, it's so hard to absorb that much time because we've already seen such a high standard of clean runs. I don't think there's many places you can make up 4 seconds, especially when he comes that low into the last upstream.
Yeah, just loses a bit of contact with the final upstream gate. 6 upstreams on this 21 gate course. And Samuel Hernandez, look, you can see not quite got the rhythm at the bottom of the course, and it's slipped away for him. So his bad news, his misfortune, is Hannes Eigner's fortune, because Hannes Eigner of Germany gets into the final, and well, he'll be one to watch, because the first of our finalists who has got a touch to their name.
Yeah, I think Hannes will be wiping his brow a little bit. It's hard waiting to see if other people go in behind you. It's Giovanni Di Gennaro waiting now. I think he may be disappointed this run because it's Vit Prindish on course.
Well, yeah, Vit Prindish of the Czech Republic is on course. Hasn't quite had the dominant season that we get so used to him through the World Cups. Of course, Vit Prindish is a World Cup champion overall, World Championship silver medalist, and a European champion. So big name and always very fast.
He has a really nice pace through the first section. I think this will be up. Yeah, it's 1.2 seconds up. And I think he'll be able to make sure that the boat stays light through these next 2 moves. We're seeing the crux moves being 10, so he'll turn before the gate and sweep around it. It's a little bit of a wide exit there. I think the fastest guys are making sure they exit really right and jump the stopper on the right-hand side, so they get a short line around the corner.
Well, Vit Prindish, not the best on 10, but it's a really good run coming together. Tidy on 12.
And he took the wide line from 11 to 12. We've seen everyone else go under the left pole of 11 to get in tight to 12, but he actually took the back of the stopper, which was really bold because it's a very inconsistent stopper, but he also nailed it. So.
Yeah, 0.28 now the deficit, but for him the job is to get into the final, and as long as he can keep that deficit within 2.2 seconds,
that's super nice.
Then he will be in the final. That's when he can take the real risks in the final. 12:40 Central European time will be live with that final. And through the finish line and into 5th place, but importantly, into the final. Well on Vit, you join Tim Maxiner, Peter Kauser, Boris Neveu, Vabra Radilek, Martin Halsin and Hannes Eigner as the confirmed finalists. Giovanni Di Gennaro still waiting next to see if he has done enough. Of course, he was the winner of the last World Cup in Tolson in Slovenia. 3 boats to go.
Yeah, it was cool to see Michal Smolon so high in the semi-final. He must have had a really good run. Yeah, so good to see what he can do on this course.
2016 Rio Olympian, 2015 World Championship bronze medalist Michal Smolon of the United States of America. Not had the results that he might have wanted. He's not made a final yet in the World Cup this season, but this would really give him a springboard into the World Championships in a month's time.
This is looking great, really nice. Just catching the outside pole with something. He just needs to force it round on the down in the eddy.
Well, it shows he's got the pace, because without that touch he would have been up on the split.
Yeah, and also the top 3 guys were not as fast in the split. There's people going 1 or 2 seconds faster than them and still losing it at the bottom. So if he can have an amazing middle and bottom section, he should be alright.
Well, I'm still surprised that we haven't gone under 90 seconds yet, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I thought we'd be around the 88, 89 seconds for the winner. we still have the likes of Yuri Priskovic to come, and of course the final. We might find a bit of time, but Michal Smolen at the moment looks like he's got a bit of work to do on the bottom section if he's going to make the final.
Yeah, he just needs to go really right, and yeah, that's really nice snapback on the curl. Just sweeping out the up, he's going to have to fight to the bottom.
Well, he's giving it his all here in Markkleeberg in Germany. It's going to be a quick time, but it's going to be outside the final, unfortunately, for Michal Smolen of the United States of America. 18th place, and that 2-second penalty proving costly.
That's hard, but Giovanni Di Gennaro is now safely into the final, so that's cool.
Well, that sets up a really exciting final already. We still have 2 boats to go. 2 fastest boats from the heats on Friday. And, well, it's Australia's Lucien Delfour, wearing bib number 6, launching his campaign. Another paddler who's not had the results he would have liked. 34th in Lee Valley, 39th in Bratislava, 34th in Tartan. That's not what we'd expect with Lucien Delfour. He's a regular finalist, regular World Championship finalist, so his opportunity. But part of that is because he's a real risk taker.
Yeah, and I really like his style because he's a very calm, considerate paddler, 1 second up on the split. But also he's really lightning fast around some of the gates. You can see him just using the water there with the bottom of his boat rather than leaning on the paddle for balance. Oh, it was super nice around gate 10, but taking a middle exit and then cutting back again to the right for a short line.
Yeah, this is looking a good run, but this is where he might take the risks. 12 and 15, and well, no risk there. That's tidily done. So yeah, I think he'll be right on par with the split time.
Oh, this is really nice. And
he's up on the split, 0.77, and Lucien Delfour is looking like he's found the groove that he's been missing in the first 3 World Cups of the season. Will this be his first final? Surely, if he can deliver 19, he is in the final.
I think he can be super stoked with his style on this run. You can see how calm he is. His body position hasn't changed since the start blocks. So he's just cruising, making sure that he's got energy left for this afternoon.
And we're going to go under 90 seconds. Thank you, Lucien. You are into the final. Well done, but under 90 seconds. Lucien Delfour of Australia goes into first ahead of Tim Maxiner of Germany and Peter Kauser of Slovenia.
Yeah, you can see how relaxed he was there, just really using the water with his boat, and that's like the highest standard of Delfour's paddling that we like to see.
Well, it's interesting. We've had no real surprises in this semi-final. It is a stacked final full of top boats, and Yuri Priskovic, the last person off on the basis of winning the heat, the world champion of 2015, Olympic bronze medalist of 2016. Well, he needs to go quicker than 92.42 to book his place in the final.
It's funny, both him and Lucien have put their bows in front of the gate at 3, which is risking a touch, but so far that might not be the place where they're making up all the time, but it must have helped. Smooth spin in gate 4. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, he's up on the split as well. I don't think Lucien's could be improved there.
Yeah, I was going to say, because yeah, he might only be 600s, but Lucien was super quick there, so he is on a good run.
It's going to be the upstreams where Yuri starts taking time out of people, though, so I think we can look for something really exciting in the bottom half of the course. And
this is what I love about the sport of canoe slalom. You've got the likes of Giovanni Di Gennaro, who is more like 80-odd kilos, versus someone like Yuri Priskovic, who is probably his weight starts in the 60-something, and they can compete on level terms. It's all about power to weight.
Absolutely, yeah, and like I said, I think he's going to really take it out of people on the upstreams. Specialises in sweeps. He's got a heavy nose in that stop and move, but actually really nice into the up. He's just going to have to fight a bit. I don't think this is a matter of fighting for the final, but definitely a matter of fighting for which position he starts in the final.
I'd agree. We're looking at he's into the final, comfortably in, and into third place for Yuri Priskovic of the Czech Republic. I am super excited. Look at that lineup of people for this final. Don't miss that final. 12:40 Central European time that gets underway. But it is Lucien Delfour who provisionally for Australia goes off last in the final. Tim Maxiner of Germany, Yuri Priskovic of the Czech Republic, Peter Kaus of Slovenia, Boris Nouveau of France, Vavra Radlek of the Czech Republic, Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic, Martin Halsin of Slovakia, Hannes Eigner of Germany, and Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy. That's our lineup, and well, there's a number of world champions in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 world champions in that 10-boat final.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a high standard of paddling. It's going to be so exciting to watch it as well, because it's round 1 of Olympic selection for a lot of people as well.
So some outstanding paddling we've seen this morning in this men's K1 semi-final and in the women's C1 semi-final that we saw earlier on. But it is, once again, the sort of top-ranked boats that are really coming through. Your reflections on that there, Amber?
It's nice to see such a tight margin between 1st and 10th place. That's just under 3 seconds. You can see such an amazing range of paddling styles and types as well, but actually in the end I think it's the best upstreams winning at the moment.
Yeah, and there was only space for 2 people with a penalty, a single penalty for 9th and 10th place.
Yeah.
Other than that, you had to be clean.
Yeah.
Well, from myself, Andy Maddock, we'll be back this afternoon. And thank you, Amber, for joining me in the commentary box.
Thanks, Andy. That was great.
The afternoon's action here on the final day of racing at the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4. We will have the finals. They get underway 12 o'clock Central European time for the women's C1 final, and the men's K1 follows straight after that at 12:40 Central European time. And we'll have the extreme slalom quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals at 3 o'clock Central European time. So it's goodbye from Markkleeberg for now, because it is only just over half an hour and we'll be underway with those finals. So well done to all the athletes in the semi-finals this morning, and we'll see you in 30 minutes. But here are the results for the men's K1 semi-final. Lucien Delfour takes the honours. He will go off last in the men's K1 final. And what a lineup that is. Join us at 12 o'clock for the women's C1 final, and the men's K1 final will be at 12:40. It's goodbye for now.